You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I spaced.
Welcome, everybody, to day 3 of the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I cannot even believe that it's day 3 already. I am here with my beautiful co-hosts, Christy Bridges and Connie Myers. We are actually coming to you from Las Vegas, Tulsa, and Memphis. So we are like all over, and our guests are too. We have a lineup tonight that I think everybody should buckle their seatbelts, buckle up, Buttercup, because I am telling you, these speakers are what's. I have stolen my friend Christy Garcia's word. They are amazing. I kept repeating that, and I think I'm just going to keep going because it's true. So if you're watching this tonight, we've had a lot of technical difficulties, so I'm hoping that you're seeing us live. If not, it will be recorded. We are streaming on YouTube and Facebook, or we hope that we are. And if you have any trouble, be sure and put a comment so that way we can make sure that you get the link when it is ready, if it doesn't go live tonight. So love you guys. Happy that you're here. Christy, you have anything to say tonight?
I have enjoyed this so much. I have, so the conference just isn't enough for me. I have had conversations with several of our guests today too, because once we started talking to them, I just wanted to keep talking. You definitely bring in some really interesting people. And I'm just so glad to be here with Connie again too.
Yeah.
Thank
I feel the same
you.
way. Yeah, this has been, it's just been amazing, honey. You've really done it. You and your team have done an amazing job. The people,
Thank you.
with the exception of the technology problems, it's perfect.
The technology is beyond our control at this point. We have, I can promise you, we have done everything we know to do.
Yeah. Hey, we're enjoying ourselves.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that's
everybody else
right.
will get the chance.
Well, we have somebody that, again, is super amazing in the green room tonight. I just can't wait to bring her on. She is super, super kind, generous. I cannot describe her well enough, because you will have to get to know her to know how absolutely precious she is and special. So welcome to Misha Campbell to the Hope to Hope conference.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited.
We're excited that you're here. You and I were just talking. We think we met about 4 years ago, and that really should have been 40 years ago on my time clock, because I think that you have added so much to my life ever since I have known you. You are just amazing. You share your stories like openly, which that's my flavor. I love that. And so I just want to say thank you publicly for all the cheerleading and all the support that you've given me and our business for like several years. And this is not your first rodeo on Hope to Hope even.
Yes. So thank you so much, Kim. That warms my heart. And I feel the same way about you. And like, I'm just happy you came into my life. Like, I've been blessed by you in so many ways, to be perfectly honest. And I'm happy to be back to the Hope to Hope conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we've been asking all of our guests the same question. And so I know it's like, trying to have a little bit of consistency because I'm like all over the place. But in what area were you broken open in? And what was the outcome so that someone who's listening can gather hope from your story? I know I have, like, lots of times. And so I want you to pick what you want to share tonight about those broken open places.
Ooh, that is such a good question, Kim. And like, a lot of my story. So I would say for me, and this is interesting because this came up in a conversation I was having with someone today. But for me, it was like it's like making peace with becoming a new person. And like making peace with the fact that the old identity that I held on to, which was prior to getting in the online space, I was in the Marine Corps. So I had this identity of being the strong and, the strong Marine, and I was fit and I was exercising and I could do all the things that the boys could do. And for me, like what broke me open was like developing an eating disorder and really going through the struggle of learning how to eat again, how to live again, how to like reframe this identity that I had created of myself was no longer something that served me. And that was like making peace with the fact that I don't have to be that person anymore it's been a blessing, but also like a struggle and a process and a constant challenge of having to, because it's hard. You look at the Instagram and you're like, I remember when I used to do that. Or you look at, people that you knew who are like, oh, I remember when you used to be able to do these things, or, or even the family members who they might mean well, but might say, oh, you put on a little weight. And it's just those things that you have to like reframe, that it's okay that you're a different person today because you went through that experience for a reason and you're out of it stronger. And now you can support other people doing the same.
Yes. Well, first I want to say thank you for serving. And then I want to say thank you for sharing, because that time in your life was very, I think, raw is a good word to put it. The things that you learned during that time that you did have to reframe. Like, I would love for you to share, some of that with us, if you don't mind, because it touched me greatly.
Thank you, Kim. And like for me, like one of the biggest, and it's interesting earlier because we were talking about how I don't like to ask for help. And there was this one moment where I didn't even know that I was asking for help when I was asking. And I was in the Marine Corps, and it was kind of at the point where I realized like you really have this disorder and you need to get help for it. And I remember talking to one of my guy friends and telling him how much I was exercising and how little I was eating. And he just took a nice pause and he was just like, are you okay? And that was the first time where I had to like, oh, I'm not okay. Like I had never asked myself through this process. I was just doing, and I think whether you've struggled with like eating or you're struggling with your business or your life or your marriage, I think sometimes we don't ask ourselves, are we okay? We just go through the motions because we feel like we have to, especially sometimes as women. Like I can't speak for men because I'm not a man, but I feel sometimes as women, we have this superwoman complex where we're doing all the things and you just don't give yourself that time and that space to be like, I'm not okay right now and I do need help. And to me, that was like where I had to get comfortable with is asking for help and asking for support in the areas that I just knew I didn't know. Like I just didn't know what to do. And for me, that helped with a lot of counseling. So I did go through some counseling to help me get through that process. And I also went through the process of not exercising anymore at all. And that was a weird transition for me, but I knew that I had to like stop something. And I was like, and I knew that I needed to learn to eat. So I was like, I need to learn to eat like a normal person again. So me exercising is just going to make me uncomfortable because then I'm going to be like, well, I'm eating all this food, so I need to exercise more. So I was like, I need to train myself to be normal again. And some people may get upset. So like, that's not abnormal. But I'm not saying that people that love to exercise are abnormal. That's fine. Maybe you do love to exercise 3 times a day. But for me, it was obsessive. So I just had to learn to go back to a place where I could be comfortable with looking at the scale and saying, I gained weight and it's okay. Like,
Yes. I so appreciate that though, because my entire life I have gone up and down in weight. And, you know, I always talk about the noise of the experts, that everybody has a different opinion to tell you what you should do. You know, if you gain 5 pounds, you should exercise an extra hour every day. Or, you know, you should eat less calories, or you should eat this food and not eat this food. But on this, the other experts saying that's the opposite. And it gets so confusing. I so admire you for taking a pause, like for just stopping to figure out what your body needed.
that's so true, Kim. And it was like, it's probably also what my mind needed too. It's like my soul needed to pause and stop and reflect and think like, why are you doing this? Like, because it got to the point where I was like, who am I? Like, what am I trying to prove at this point? And who am I trying to prove it to? Because it's like, you're not trying to prove it to yourself, Tanisha. Like, you're trying to prove it to someone else. And if the goal is to prove it to some outside person, well, you have a really lots of pain to come to you. Because if you're only doing this for external reasons, yes, some people are going to be like, you look great. But there's always going to be that one person. It's like, but you could be better. And if it's like, if I'm only doing that for external reasons, it's like, I'm just going to be in this cycle forever.
Yes. Well, I know that you have touched so many lives by sharing your story, because there are lots of people that were trained. And I'm not even specifically talking about military. I think going back to the women part, we're trained to ignore our own needs to make sure we're serving everyone around us. And it does create things in us. It creates, you know, I think it creates a lot of self-doubt also.
Yes. And self-doubt is something I have to admit, like I've struggled with for years. Like I am literally, and I hate the word people pleaser because I know that's at the root of what I am, but I am such a people pleaser. And I don't know like where it really roots from, or actually I kind of do. And I've had conversations recently with my parents about it, that I think sometimes the assumption that I'm always good, in the fact that a lot of attention was given to my older brother just because he was the one who struggled a lot more when it came to academics. Not because he was not as smart as I was. He was smarter. He was just like disobedient. And so that was just, he didn't want to listen and do schoolwork. So because I was the A student, you know, I felt like I always wanted to do more because maybe they'll give me attention. But it was like, no, you're not going to give me attention because you're good. So I think a lot of that too came out of like this desire to be seen. And then, you know, not really realizing like, oh, well, how far will you go to be seen?
Oh my goodness. That is a really big topic right there that you just opened, because the extent that we will go to get the attention we need, or to, and I'm not even talking about as a child, I'm talking about as an adult. Like, I think that goes all the way through our lifetimes of, you know, finding, if we don't pause, and I do think that it's almost like self-therapy. If you will pause and figure those things out, then life can be so much sweeter than stressing and struggling and the anxiety that it brings, I think.
Yeah. You know,
Go ahead, Christy.
Well, you said something that I really identify with. That you hear sometimes, you know, you see old pictures or old things that you used to be able to do. you hear people say, oh yeah, I remember when, whatever. And you had to learn to be okay with the fact that that was part of your life. That was definitely you, but this is also part of your life and it's not the same. And you're choosing to live this part of your life. And I personally experienced that with, music and other things in my life, that kind of bittersweet, oh, I wish I could do everything at once kind of thing, but we only have so many hours and we have this more linear lifespan. So what kinds of things helped you get to the point where you're okay with saying, yep, I used to be able to do that. Now I could do this,
Oh, such a good question, Christy. I think one big thing that was like very shifting for me was, and this is probably why I'm like such a cheerleader, was learning to celebrate other people. Because I think sometimes it's easy to get lost in, oh, I can't do these things, rather than think about, well, other people can, and how about I celebrate them? Like, how about I enjoy the fact that, my friends are able to do these things in a healthy and sustainable way. I may not be doing them, or maybe there's other things that I now do. Because like you said, it's a choice. I could also think about like, well, I'm choosing to do it differently now, because I could technically choose to keep doing the old stuff if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So it's like reframing it as it is your choice to change, but also celebrating those who are, able to do things that that you're no longer able to do.
That is a really powerful choice. I'm really impressed that you've been able to make that. Thank you.
I
So
think
if you had, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Connie.
I think when we celebrate others, we are actually celebrating ourselves all at the same time. And anytime we celebrate, we actually change the chemistry in our brain so that we're looking for more ways to celebrate. We have it increases the hormone oxytocin, which is the cuddle hormone. And so when you are out there celebrating others, then you're also celebrating because your oxytocin is kicking in. So your brain is now looking for more things to celebrate. So that's a really beautiful statement.
Oh, thank you, Connie. I'm gonna write that down. Like that's for that forever.
Definitely. It's the cuddle hormone. I like that. Yes.
Well, what would you say to someone who's they've been through some things like in their life with trying to figure out those things, and they have not yet paused, maybe they don't understand the value of it yet? What would you suggest they do to start that pause so they can start reframing things?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think like something that can be helpful for some people to kind of start that pause is to take a step back and assess like what are your goals for the future. And I know goal setting isn't like not everyone's favorite thing to do, but sometimes just asking the question of what do I really want? Because sometimes I realize when we kind of look forward and say, what do I really want? Then you can take a step back and say, am I taking the steps that are going to get me there? Because sometimes we'll pursue something thinking, oh, this is what you'll say, this is what I want. Like that example, I wanted to be a lawyer, years ago, wanted to go to law school, didn't get in, long story short. And then that led me to joining the Marine Corps. But the funny thing was I looked at, did I really want to go to law school, or did I just want to help people? And did I want to support people? And I realized I'm doing that now. So it's like sometimes if I had just taken a step and asked myself, what do you actually want to do? Why do you want to go to law school? What are you really trying to accomplish? Then I could have taken steps and said, oh, if I do these things, that will get me there. And I don't necessarily have to go to law school.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Because you are such a cheerleader. You are just such a cheerleader to everyone around you. You are definitely serving in a huge way. It may not be through the court system, but look at what you do even online. I mean, I am always in awe of you. That is one thing that is, I guess just all the time. I have such respect and such awe that you will take the time to celebrate other people, and you take the time to do the sweet stuff. We get caught up in life, and sometimes we forget to do the sweet stuff. Sometimes we get, we think it may be, but we don't take time to actually put it down. And I think you do. I think you are really good at saying things to people that they need to hear.
Thank you. And I always think about it too. Sometimes I need to hear it too. It's like you say things to someone else and then you take a step back and you'll be like, was I talking to them or was I talking to me?
I love it. I love it. Well, let's talk now. Let's talk about all the amazing things you're doing now.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to talk. So one thing that I've been making a shift to do is really supporting women when it comes to mindful eating, because this is something that I didn't realize, like in the process of like moving away from my very disordered eating habits to becoming more comfortable with food. That's what I was doing. Like I didn't coin it or know what the phrase was at the time, but I learned to like how to become comfortable with the fact that I didn't need to necessarily control everything that I ate or monitor everything that I ate to be able to eat healthy and eat healthfully. And that eating healthy didn't mean that I couldn't enjoy my donuts at times and I couldn't enjoy my cookies and my Oreos. It's like, it was all in balance and moderation. So that's what I've been supporting women to do now. And like next week, I'm going to be doing a free challenge to help people stop binge eating at night, because that was actually a lot of the thing that I struggled with. Is like, I would, do the calorie restriction during the day. I'm so disciplined. And then at night, it's like all of the foods and cookies, like all of the chips in my mouth now. So it's like helping people feel like really build those habits so that, and give them very useful tips and that are tangible. Because I mean, I do love to kind of talk about the woo-woo sometimes, but I know some people are like, that's nice to meet you, but tell me how to not eat the chips tell me not to eat my kids, Oreos. What I know to do.
Tell me how to eat 2 Oreos instead of the entire bag. Yeah, right.
It's funny you say that, Christy, because one of my hacks actually for like not eating all the Oreos, and I look at it now and realize that I don't know if this was really helpful to my coworkers, but I had 3 coworkers, and I don't know if y'all know the birthday cake Oreos and how the Oreos are split in 3 rows. So what I would do is I would buy a pack, and then I would take one row and be like, this is Emmanuel's. And then I take another row, like, this is Stephanie, and this is mine. So then I would just give them their Oreos and eat mine. And I was like, that's fine. I'm eating in control. But then they would buy Oreos, and I'm like, okay, I don't think we're helping each other. And they're like, here's yours, Tamisha. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't want any more.
In one of my classes, there's Oreo Day, because one of the lessons is about taxes. It's just silly. But in the lesson, I open the top of an Oreo and show them how like the different parts of your money. And then I pass around the Oreos. And it's like the one time that I could let myself eat Oreos because I could give away the rest.
That's funny. That's a great hack, actually, though, to not have them all available so that you just don't.
Yeah,
exactly. Then I tell myself, if I eat Stephanie's Oreos, that would not be nice. So.
How rude! Don't eat my Oreos.
You are so cute. I love it. Well, so tell us more about your challenge, because I know your heart is to serve people and to help them like get past this. And with it being the holidays, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How to survive.
Oh yeah, that's true. And that's why I was like, I was so nervous too to do it next week, because I was like, should I do it during the holidays? But then someone was like, this is the perfect time to do it. So what it really focuses on is helping people like do simple things like plan out your meals for the week and your snacks, but also break things down to say, hey, if you're someone who's a stress eater, so like each day focuses on a different thing. So like for some people, stress eating is a big thing. So it's like, what can you do instead of eating? And then for other people, it's like, okay, you're going to work late at night because maybe you work from home, or you're a business owner, you have or you're a parent and homeschooling. And basically it's like 10 o'clock and now it's your time and you just want to eat all the Oreos and drink all the wine. Like what can you do to say, maybe there's an healthier option that you can have that night? And then you feel, and then showing them different things that they can do in the day to like portion out their meals. So it's like basically giving people very practical skills, but touching upon different struggles that people have. So it's like, you could technically do all 5 days, or you could really come in for one day and still get something out of it. So that's why I wanted to kind of do it. So just to give people space to say, if you don't have time for all 5 days, maybe you do better on Monday and then you can come back on Wednesday. And, so that's what I
sounds really good.
Yeah. Can you tell us where to find it so that way everybody can find you?
Oh, that's a good point. It's actually at afitnessmindset.com/challenge. So I wanted to make the link very simple to sign up.
We love simple.
So afitness what?
Mindset.com/challenge, and it starts on Monday. So, and I actually include a nice little, not a grocery shopping list, but like different recipes that you can try. So, and then actually on Saturday, I'm going to do a nice little meal planning class, just a bonus, just to kind of support people to say, hey, here's how you can plan with Thanksgiving. Because I know some people don't want to cook all the meals that week. So I'm like, here's how you can cook for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. Please don't skip breakfast and lunch for Thursday. Make sure you eat those too, and then go into your Thanksgiving dinner. But just kind of giving people some practical tips.
I
just signed up. It was that easy. Yeah. Literally, while you were talking, I signed up.
We can't see. We're a little technically challenged, just so you know. So we can't see if it's in the comments. So if the team is able to put it in the comments, they will. If they're not, when we post the video, we'll make sure it gets in there. And if they are coming to you after the challenge is over, because this video will keep going, do they just go to your website to find out what your tips are and your latest?
Yes, that's a good question, Kim. So, and now this is a great reminder. So yes, you can still go to afitnessmindset.com, and I'm actually going to put up a blog post, which will kind of break down each of those days. So they'll still be able to get the support. I have to work on that one. I have to make a nice little sticky note. I always keep my stickies just to be like, right.
Wait, I think we're related. Wait, let me find all of the different. I love it. Well, Tamisha, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for always being so generous. I do think the challenge is extremely generous because your heart is generous. I can't say that enough. You are just very special to me, and I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Kim and Christy and Connie. It was so amazing being here with all of you, and just y'all just filled me up. It's like a good night kiss.
I agree. We got those cuddle hormones going.
Well, I hope that you're able to come back with this. I know that you're later than we are, but I hope that you're able to come back for the after party on Zoom tonight. We will be on Zoom. You can get the link on the website at mysexybusiness.com, and it starts at 9:00 Central Standard Time. So, and the Zoom things will not be later. Like, they are not recorded. And so we get to hang out and just have open conversations with the speakers and everyone. So anyway, I hope you get to come tonight, Tamisha, because I know my team would love to meet you. Love to meet you.
Oh, God, yeah.
So thank you.
Again, Tamisha.
You too, Connie.
Well, we will be right back. We are going to go to our little break and play our video again. Hopefully, we're not breaking the internet by playing the video. And so we love you guys. We'll see you in the next session. And Tamisha, thank you again.
Thank you.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day.
It's almost like a dance break because that is so, I love that music.
I totally took one.
We were watching you. We can see behind the curtains and we were singing.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I am here with my co-host, Christy Bridges, and our next guest speaker, Connie Myers. She has shifted gears, and I'm not even sure if she was paying attention to the schedule to know she was up next. And so,
I just
and
knew it was
I didn't,
fun.
and I didn't warn you because I wanted you like raw and real.
She does this. I think
Okay,
Connie knows how to do it.
So I am going to take the opportunity to tell some tales on Miss Connie Myers because people underestimate this little white-headed firecracker that that we run around with.
Mhm.
Connie she has always been a hot mess, and she has always been someone who is impacting lives and changing industries, not just changing people, but entire industries. How many of you out there have gone through the home buying process and got an inspection on your home? Well, everybody should send Connie thank you notes because she actually is the one that brought that to the world. Her and her partners actually were the first ones to take home inspections to the realtors and help them get started where people could get those kind of services every time that they bought a home. And so she had to change a lot of minds. Imagine not having a home inspection today. We would not accept that. Like, we would not even consider that. But back then it was so unheard of that she got in her little car and she drove across the nation multiple times, changing people's minds by helping them understand the benefit that it would be for having home inspections. And so she literally rocked this planet with her partners. It wasn't just all her, but it was a whole lot of her being out there in the public to change the entire industry to where now it's standard. So that was the first thing. Well, that wasn't the first thing. That was one thing. That's what I should say. And then all of you who are on here tonight or have done anything online, it's kind of interesting because we take it for granted today. In 2020, it's normal. We have online things. We have, we can take all kinds of classes in all kinds of areas. But go back before that was the normal. Again, Connie K. Myers comes on the scene with her partners, and she actually created something called Online Ed, which still lives today, but it started before online schooling was even a thing. And we can't imagine that now, but back then no one had heard of that. So again, she gets in her little car and drives across the nation, changing people's minds. And here's the thing. She's one little Spitfire, but she's one person, and she changed the entire industry by going and meeting people and helping them understand what they could be gaining from such valuable tools. So now fast forward again. I'm gonna spill it all. Fast forward again, and this little Spitfire that has changed the industry 2 times, like by that point, significantly. She decides that she wants to be even bigger at giving. And so she signs up and actually goes into I don't know how to explain it, horrible devastation through disasters. She goes in and she actually worked for FEMA for 7 years and went in the trenches. I think of that as being in the trenches because she would have to wade into stuff. She would have to, love on people that were broken because, they might have lost someone. They lost their possessions. They might have lost their pets, whatever it was, she was there to help them pick up the pieces. And so now fast forward again with me. She's done those three major things, and I'm not even talking about all the things in between those three major things. She decides that she can give bigger, which I know she can, but she decides that she can give bigger. And so she gets an email about a need that really the world had, not just the real estate industry, but the world had. And they're looking for someone to create a course that involved disasters, like preparing for disasters. And so here comes little Connie K. Myers again with her little white hair and her little curls, and she shows up to create a course that is already, and it's only, and I have to tell you, I know behind the scenes things that I can't tell, and that is one of the hardest things in the whole world for me to do, is to not brag on somebody that I know is doing something amazing, because we can't talk yet.
We actually can now. We actually can now.
Well, only because I know we can now, but I'm saying that was hard to not tell. That was hard for you not to tell and hard for me not to tell. Because now, after all those fast forwards, she's actually created a course to help people and businesses and realtors and just the general people to be prepared for disasters, so there won't be so much loss, and there won't be so many people lose their lives, lose their possessions, their pets. I still keep going back to that too, because we don't think about that unless we've been through something. And you are, first off, amazing. I'm going to use my same word stolen from Christy Garcia, that you have rocked the world in so many ways. And now, just coming out with this course, it just now came out, and you've already served thousands of people through this course, and you have a big, audacious goal that I can't wait for you to share. So, welcome, Connie K. Myers, to the Hope to Hope Conference.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. That was quite the introduction. It's kind of like a history lesson of me.
I love it. I've known you for a while, and I didn't know all that, so that's awesome.
Well, when you get to be 72, you have a lot of life you've lived.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same question that we ask everybody, and I know it impacts you greatly because you have lots of those moments, and I want you to explain like those moments. I'm not going to spoiler alert. I'm not going to say what it is, but I want you to talk about that. But what areas do you want to share tonight that you were cracked open in, and what was the outcome?
Oh, well, definitely the biggest one of all was when my husband died. And I was a workaholic, and I was driven, and I was, if I was always working, if I didn't have something else to do, I was working. And when my husband passed, he was sick for 6 months. And so I had that 6 months that I didn't work and just took care of him. And when he died, true to my old way of doing things, I decided that I would jump right back into work. It was like he'd only been gone like maybe 6 weeks. And I decided, okay, I'm just going to jump right back into work. That's when we had online ed. And so I called my partners, and I started calling clients and customers, and started trying to work. And it was literally like I was having an out-of-body experience. The conversation was over here, and I was over here watching it. I couldn't connect to it. And after a few weeks, I figured out that the old life that I had known was completely gone. And so I've lost my husband. At the same time, I had a home in Oregon that was upside down, and I was losing the home. I had lost my husband. Even my car broke down, and I really went down to nothing. And when you get to that point, you have to think about, okay, what do I do? And I was really blessed by a woman that I've known for several years now. She has a conference every year, and she invited me to that conference. And while I was there, I met a couple of coaches. And one of them gave me 2 months of free coaching on, first thing she asked me was, what is your purpose? And I looked at her like most people do. What do you mean purpose? I have no idea what my purpose is. Yeah. And I started, that's where I started. That was 9.5 years ago.
Miss Connie, I hate to do this, but I need to step out for a minute. So please continue with Christy for just a minute, and I apologize.
Oh, no worries, honey. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you know that I am all about purpose. So I'm sorry. I'm hooked.
Well, I didn't know what purpose was. I didn't understand that. And, but then when I started realizing and started understanding that you have to have a purpose. I mean, that 2 months of coaching was a real blessing because I learned about vision. I learned about purpose. And you know me now, that's all I teach about is vision. I even teach about vision in disasters. That's how committed I am to it. So
we'll come back to that because I want to ask about it, but go ahead.
So I just started moving forward. And, you know, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, things show up in your life. And I'm a big follower of Mary Morrissey. She has the Life Mastery Institute, and she, I was a big follower. So she every day she would send out little affirmations, and right after that she'd have something about her Life Mastery Institute. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I mean, I was like, I had no idea. And so I one day I read the affirmation, and then this Life Mastery thing popped up, and I clicked on it and I read it for the first time. And I go, I wonder if I could be a life coach. What do I know about being a life coach? And I clicked on it and I made the call. And as I was talking to the man, I keep thinking, well, maybe I can't be. Then wait a minute. What did he just say? And I'm like, well, I've basically been doing that my entire life because I had an insurance business and I'd been coaching people all along. I was called a sales manager, but that's basically what you were doing, was coaching, right? And so by the end of the phone call, I'm praying to God I'm going to be accepted, because you had to send in an application. They had to go through it. They had to have another interview with you before you could qualify to come into their program. So fortunately for me, I got in and I became first a Dream Builder coach and then a Life Mastery consultant. And then I went and got my John Maxwell certified business and leadership coaching. So I started doing coaching. And at the same time, I'm wanting to tell the world about my story because I knew I wasn't alone. And I'm talking to a dear friend of mine. I'm going, you know, it's like it was that moment where things, there was something leading me, but I wasn't sure where I was going. And I discovered, and I say this all the time now, the greatest gift my husband ever gave me was in his passing. Because I would not be doing what I'm doing today. I would not, I wouldn't be a coach. I wouldn't have 5 best-selling books. I wouldn't be writing a certification on disasters. I wouldn't have been doing any of that. Right. So the last few years, I wrote books and I coached. And one of the first times I met Kim, she was asking me, as she does, her blunt questions, right? And I said to her, I really don't understand what that FEMA stuff had to do with anything. And I've been saying that. A dear friend of ours, Angela, she contacted me. She says, you've been saying that for years. At the mastermind group, she says it. So I kept saying, what does that have to do with anything? Well, then last year, in January, February, March, I was very sick. Whatever the flu was for that year, I don't know what it was, but I was sick. And I am sitting in my chair, and I decided that I was going to quit. I decided that, I was going to build a tiny house. My son had just moved to Bend, Oregon, which I love. I told him when he was looking at property, make sure it was big enough for me to have a tiny house on it. And so he's helping me make the plans. We're designing it. I call my realtor here in Vegas and say, okay, I need to know comps. I start looking around the house. What am I going to sell? How long is it going to take me to get out of this house? And a dear friend of mine, Kirsten O'Shield, called me. She was a keynote speaker for the National Association of Women Business Owners Luncheon here in town. And so she was flying in and she asked me to be her guest. And I said, sure. I'd kind of been wanting to check it out anyway, but hadn't really had the ambition to go to one of their luncheons. So I went, and the first thing out of her mouth is, so what are you up to? And I'm like, well, I've decided I'm retiring and quitting. And she looked at me, put her finger in my face, and said, you are not quitting. She's kind of sounded like, Kim, you don't have a clue what you're doing. You have a single idea of what you're doing. You need to wake up. Just I tell people all the time about how you're changing people's lives. And I go, you do? And she says, I will not let you quit. So I don't even remember what else she talked about in her speech. But I got home that afternoon and I'm sitting back in my chair and I sat there and I was going, what is this really all about? And I think I was having a little bit of depression because keeping me in a chair for 2.5 months is not a good thing.
Right.
And I realized that all the things I teach other people, have your vision, listen to your vision on your phone, best meditation ever. Write down the things you're grateful for. Write down the things that you have, the successes you've had so you can celebrate. I hadn't done any of that for 3 months. So that afternoon I start writing and this little thought came once again, what is that FEMA training stuff I did? What does that have to do with anything I'm doing today? 2 weeks later, I got an email from the California Association of Realtors. They were making the list of the courses they were interested in having for this year. And one of them was on disasters. And I emailed her and I said, you do not give that course to anybody else. That's mine. And so I wrote a little 3-hour course. It was just supposed to be a little tiny 3-hour course. And I taught it live in October of last year. And then I also presented it to the Professional Development Committee. And I realized as I'm talking about it that there was way too much information. This could not be a 3-hour course. Mm-hmm. So I started writing and I wrote the 3 other courses being quarantined at my friend's house. And I always talk about the fact that the 3rd course is on man-made disasters. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here, I'm quarantined, and me sitting is not a good thing either. At quarantine and writing about pandemics and mass shootings and nuclear explosions and power outages and cyber attacks. And I'm like, okay, if I can sit here and write about this stuff and not get depressed, I will never be depressed again. So what I did is I wrote these 4 courses, but my first audience, because I'm in the real estate world and have been for over 25 years. So I knew my original audience, which Kim, I almost told her I wanted outside of it. And good thing she talked me out of it. Anyway, I started out going out to the real estate community. And fortunately, over these last 25 years, I've met a lot of amazing people that are leaders in the industry. And I went to some of the very top leaders I have. And I created a consumer course. So this could be for anybody, the consumer course. I'm so proud of this because my goal is to help 30 million people be more prepared, Americans be more prepared in the next 5 years than they are today. Wow. And I can only do that with the help of other people. So
okay, stop for a second. This is time to pause. I want everybody to think about that for a second. This little woman who is going to quit and give up now has a goal of 30 million people in 5 years. And I'm here to tell you, I believe her.
Yep.
Thank you. So I've written a consumer course and a book that's going to be coming out shortly for consumers, and anybody that goes through my certification course can then go out and teach the course to their communities, and then they become the heroes in their communities. So whatever business or career they're in, they're going to be the leader in the community, and they'll not just make a difference in their community, but they'll also save lives, save lots of money on property, and help their careers or businesses. So yes, that it all started by my husband passing away.
Wow. Wow.
And it, go ahead, Christy.
I love it. You know, you started by saying, what is my purpose? And, you know, maybe I'll be a life coach. And you have so much wisdom and to share. And I loved your Kick Butt leadership, the mindfulness based leadership. But now you're pulling in just practical things so that people can feel more in control of their lives in a time when people have so much anxiety because they don't feel in control of anything. And now you're preparing them in tangible ways to be ready in case of disaster. And that I just love, I mean, the way that you pulled your sense of purpose, your sense of mindfulness, you've let that make you creative. And then you've pulled your knowledge and experience from all those years of that hard work. It's neat.
I have to tell you, my entire life, everything I have done up until now has brought me to this. And you know, when you're living your purpose and you're living your passion, you're living your dreams, people and things start showing up in your life. Yeah. I have a team that showed up in my life to help me. They came to the gal I wanted to bring in as my partner, and they all followed because they bought into what we were trying to accomplish. And then I have, I'm very proud to announce that Exit Realty International, they have 25,000 agents in Canada and the United States, and they are a premier partner. I'm a premier partner with them now, and they're taking it out to all 25,000 agents. And I have several associations that are bringing it on. So I am just like, I'm so proud of the work that my team has done. You know, Kim, when you talk about your team, there's nothing like having somebody that believes in your dream and buys into your dream and your vision, because just like they did with your magazine, my team made this. They're already on 2.0 of the course. They've redone it all. And it's like they meet every night until like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'm in bed. It's like, but yeah, and they like the camaraderie of it, because we all have the vision of what our movement is all about. Our movement is helping 30 million people improve their preparedness. And when you have that kind of a vision, and you show the passion of it, then anything is possible. Anything.
Absolutely.
People want to be part of something. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. There's a little bit of a delay, and so I think no one's talking, and I start to talk, and then I hear you, so I'm sorry.
No, I just get excited. People do. They want to feel part of something. And, you know, we don't always come up with ideas on our own, and when somebody does, it's just like, yes, I want in on that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to say, Miss Connie K. Myers again, I cannot say enough how proud I am of you, because, you know, you put up with a lot. You put up a lot from somebody you know. and the truth is because I knew it the whole time. You know, that's the part that you can't always see when it's you yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And we all need that.
You can't coach yourself, but you don't see it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for all of your support. The pics in the pants and showing up at my front door and a few other things I won't mention.
Well, you know, you probably should have never given me the code to the door. Now you're never going to be safe because.
Yeah, that's why she was planning on moving.
It might show up.
Yeah, but see, your son and I already had that figured out. I would know the tiny house door lock too, so you couldn't have gotten anywhere away from us. I am very proud of you, because you did go through. Anytime you, and we usually talk about it in terms of birthing something, you know, anytime you birth something that big, and you don't always know when you start. I guess this is my encouragement to anyone that's listening that has a big dream and they're scared to say anything about it yet. you know, you don't always know when you're doing something how big it will be. You might have a feeling that it will be, and that's scary. It's kind of scary when you know you're going to impact a lot of lives. But if you had known what you were going to be doing, you probably would have run faster, harder, and hidden a lot better.
Yeah.
Just because it is a process. It is a process, and it's, you know, but the fact that they're now, all of these thousands of people are being certified in your course. I mean, I just want the world to like let that sink in. I want you to let that sink in. How powerful that is. What a short time it was, because March will be 10 years since Tom passed.
Yes.
That's not really very long if you think about it.
No, not to see where I've come, where I was, and where I am now. It's mind blowing to me, and I can tell you that it truly is staying in your vision. If the vision changes, being able to change, it's just a course correction. It's not a failure. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other and allowing it to unfold itself. I mean, I think trying to try too hard to make something happen, you've got to surrender. You got to let it go. And I think that was probably one of the most difficult lessons for me, because I was always, in the past, I've always like, I have to be in charge. I have to make it happen. And I have learned finally, well, maybe not 100%, but I'm not a control freak like I was.
Yeah.
I was actually just wondering, you know, one of the things you learned when Tom passed was you didn't want to continue making work your entire life. And I know that you've accomplished so much since he passed, but that you make it a point to ride around in a convertible with the top down and to, you know, drive across the country to celebrate somebody's birthday you didn't know. Thank you for that. That was really fun. You do things that are just life affirming and enjoyable without, you know, so that your life isn't totally work.
Just like Hope to Hope.
Yeah.
Just like Hope to Hope. Yeah. I do try to mix my business with my fun now. And actually next year, one of my friends has an RV. And when I'm out there, hopefully speaking live again and being out there in front, she's going to be my chauffeur in her RV. So we'll be taking it from the road. So we're looking forward to doing that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Hi, Miss Elaine, by the way, if you're listening.
How cool.
Love Miss Elaine. So we are at the end of this session, so we're going to play our little video again. But thank you. First off, thank you for sharing during this time. This was your time to share, but thank you for always going the extra mile and being with us for Hope to Hope and all the other millions of things that you do for us and with us. And I'm grateful for you. I just want to say that one more time.
I'm very grateful for both of you. Love you dearly.
We love you. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, and we're going to play our cute little video again. So here you go.
So get up and dance.
Yeah, get up. This is your official dance break. You've got 2 minutes to dance.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day.
our dance break. Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I'm Kim White, and these are my beautiful co-hosts, Christy Bridges and Connie Myers. We have someone in the green room again that is so amazing. I am just going to break that record right now with the amazing. I can't help it. I've been hanging out with Christy Garcia too much, just so you know. She's the one that does the amazing. I'm usually saying awesome, but everyone has just been so amazing. So our next guest, one, she's a dear friend. She's a sweetheart, but she has such an incredible story of like hope to share with you all. And she's done a lot in my life to put hope bites. I'm going to call it that. She has put hope bites into my world and has taught me so many things that I can do in just a few minutes to improve my life and my health. So welcome, Samantha Mcconnell.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's so nice to be with you ladies.
So good to see
We're
you,
so
Samantha.
glad.
To see you again. I love your mermaid. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's my part of my branding because I'm a princess mermaid.
Love it.
Italian princess mermaid. Let's clarify that.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to ask you the same question that we ask everyone, and that is, in what way were you broken open, and what was the outcome?
Well, when I was very young, my parents were really, really active, and we had people over, and we had vacations, and my mom was president of this and president of that. And then she started to become ill when I was around 8 years old. And about 2 years later, my dad found out he had arthritis. And collectively, my life changed within 2 to 3 years. All that stopped, and they both became very seriously ill. My mom had multiple sclerosis, and my dad had arthritis that didn't lead to, but then he later got cancer. So what was an ideal childhood up to about age 8 changed. It went from, beautiful to dark. And so I was scared to death. I was an only child, and I didn't know what was going on because my mom, with MS, you can have relapses and then you can get better again. And I think, oh, I have my mom back. And then she'd get, worse again. And MS is tricky because back then they didn't say it was MS for sure. They didn't know. They didn't have the technology. And so we would get a lot of people thinking my mom was faking it. And my mom was such a creative, hard-driven woman. So for her to lay in bed, and then I started to wonder, well, why doesn't she get up? She looks okay to me. And my dad was taking care of me, and I was in 6th grade, and being the Italian he was, he didn't know how to feed me properly. And so I had lots of pasta, bread, pastries, all kinds of stuff like that. So when I was 13, I started putting on a little bit of weight. I wasn't overweight, but it bothered me. I didn't feel right. And I didn't have any clue how to eat right. And I started about that same time going to the library and researching how to get healthy because I thought I could cure my parents. And so I was reading all these books about food and being healthy. And I thought, well, maybe I can cure my mom with a healthy diet, but I still had no clue because this was way back. They didn't have the information they have now. And so when I was going into 9th grade, my mom was doing well again. She was exercising to a program on TV, and I saw the change in her. It was amazing. And that imprinted on me how important exercise is because she went from laying in bed, literally laying in bed every day, to starting to drive again. And I thought, once again, I have my mom back. At the same time, my dad was getting worse, and he was going to have to retire because he didn't trust himself at work, and he was in a lot of pain. So he took an early retirement. And about that time, my mom and I got in a car accident, and she shattered her kneecap, and she never did recover from any of that. She got weaker and weaker, and she stayed in bed, and it got worse. And by 10th grade, I was starting high school, It was the night before school started, and I was so excited to start high school. And my mom had gone out to the kitchen to get a piece of cake, and I heard this shatter, like glass breaking. I'm running into the den, and she had fallen, and I couldn't pick her up. I didn't realize how weak she was, and my dad had to help us. And when we got in that car accident, to back up, it was the summer before 9th grade, I decided, because I had been injured, I had facial lacerations, so I wasn't supposed to go out in the sun while they healed. And I found my mom's magazine had a diet in it. And I thought, well, since I have to stay home, we lived in Long Beach and all my friends were at the beach and I had to stay indoors. I thought, I'm going to really get healthy because the accident, I was just so in awe that I had lived through an accident. It was a 4-car accident. And fortunately, no one was seriously injured. My mom was the most seriously injured. But I just felt like God was giving me a second chance. And I had this motivation. I was an average student, and I didn't really have a purpose at that point. And I was very depressed because my parents were sick. So I was kind of isolated and a hermit, if you will. And so I was driven to get healthy. So I started exercising. I looked into books and I was doing exercises. I had bricks, and I used my dad's bricks as weights. And this is before, weightlifting was really that popular. And I went on this diet. And I lost the weight. It was only like 10 pounds because I wasn't really overweight. And I lost my brain fog. And I went back to school and I had new clothes and everybody, was telling me how pretty I looked, and no one had ever done that before. And my grades just shot up. I got straight A's, which I never did. I usually got C's and B's. So I was amazed. However, the caveat is I was scared to death I was going to gain the weight back because I didn't know how to eat. And the diet wasn't an extreme diet, but I had this fear that I was going to gain the weight back. So I started doing crazy things. I'd start, cutting up eggs in little pieces and eating them, several times during the day. And then I'd be starving, and that would lead to binge eating. And then I'd gain the weight on the scale. And then at first I was anorexic, and then that led to bulimia. And my life just became hell. So, in essence, I was trying to be healthy, and I ended up getting unhealthy and not any help to my parents. And my dad was worried about me. He thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one that had an eating disorder. And I went to a psychologist, and I remember him saying, "Can't you just eat one cookie? Why do you have to eat them all?" And I couldn't explain it to anybody. I didn't know anybody that had it. And then several years later, I heard about Karen Carpenter, and that she had passed away and that she had an eating disorder. And I thought, that just hit me. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. Now there's 2 of us. So that drama, that love-hate relationship with food and hiding it, it was hell. And it went on for many years. And I tried to get better, and I tried all these diets, and I could stay thin, but I felt like I was a fake. Because, I was eating a lot and then I would just throw it up. And my best friend knew about it, and we didn't talk much about it, but that hiding and that secrecy, and then I felt terrible. So later on, when I got into college, I was drinking a liter of Dr. Pepper and eating a bag of Starburst to get me through I was studying architecture to get me through all the projects at night. And I felt terrible. And I met my husband, at the time. He didn't know anything about the eating disorder. And we went on a whirlwind dating spree, and we got married 2 years later. And I told him about it, but he didn't really get it. And we got married, moved to San Diego, and then he got a job in Seattle. So we moved up to Seattle with no family, no friends. I didn't have any family. And when I lost my mom and dad in my early 20s, I was an only child with absolutely no family, except for a great aunt that lived in Pennsylvania, across the states. And this is before internet and, smartphones. So I know firsthand how horrible it is to be without family. And that really started the journey. I didn't know it at the time, but like Miss Connie was saying, you can connect the dots throughout your whole life and where it's brought to you now. And as I look back, I can see each phase, good or bad. I was still hopeful. I was still going to figure this darn thing out. And I still worked out. I worked out crazy. I was a gym rat. I worked really hard, but I could not get the food under control. So after we got married, we lived in Seattle. It rains a lot. I was really depressed, and we'd only been there a couple of months. And he asked me if I was still doing it, and I said yes. And he said, because he didn't understand it, he thought I could just quit. And he was getting ready to go to Canada on a business trip, and we're in an apartment. We were hadn't bought a house yet. And it's pouring down rain, and it's October. I remember this because it was Halloween, and I was by myself. And before he left, he said, well, you better get this figured out or I'm going to divorce you. And I was just shattered because he was my whole family. And I felt abandoned, which I did with my parents when they were sick. I felt abandoned again. And I didn't know what to do. I called his mom and she said, well, you said you were going to, heal it, and you didn't. Again, people didn't understand. It was not well known. So I was frantic. I looked in the yellow pages because we didn't have internet. And I found an eating disorder group that met for free at a local hospital. And I thought, oh my gosh, they have one? So I was scared to death. And I walked in there and I was blown away. It was full of women, all different ages. There were executive women from Boeing, VPs. There were grandmothers. There were young girls. I thought it would all be young girls, I thought it would be maybe a handful. And I was totally shocked. And then I thought, wow, I am not alone. And I listened to the stories. They ran it similar to AA. They even had you buy that same book. And I was a little intimidated as to share my story. And so I only went once, and I continued my journey once again on my own. And we decided to start a family. And I thought, okay, I've got to get this under my belt. So it was sheer willpower for a while. And willpower only lasts so long. That I ate super, super healthy so that we could start a family. And unfortunately, I had 3 miscarriages in a row. And it wasn't anything, we found out later, I just didn't have enough progesterone, which is common. So with my next pregnancies, they just would supplement with a plant-based progesterone so I could keep the pregnancies. But that's really hit hard for me when I lost the babies, because I felt like God was punishing me for all those years of wasting food. I mean, you just really feel terrible. First of all, you're hiding it. Then you're wasting money and you're wasting the food. And I was just loathing myself. Yet I just knew it intuitively. There was a way out of this hell, because it really was a prison. And when we get together with family dinners, it was always like, oh my gosh, I was always thinking about the food. I don't want to eat too much, so I won't eat anything. Because once I start, I can't stop, and I don't want to eat and then throw up there and try to hide that. And it was terrible. So after I had the kids, I kept it in check because of the kids. I couldn't do it, but it was still tempting. And I still had my moments. And when I was nursing, I didn't do it at all. But then when I had 3 kids, I thought, I've got to figure this out. And my diet was much better then, but I still didn't understand it. I didn't have the basics. And we were on vacation, and I was once again studying stuff about health and diets. And this one particular female doctor was writing about women are meant to eat. We're not supposed to deprive ourselves. We are meant to eat and celebrate with food, but it's all about choosing the right food and not the wrong food. And that it isn't willpower oftentimes, it's what's in the food. And the light bulb went on. I started crying. We were driving. We were in Arizona, and we used to drive every summer all from Seattle down, and we'd go to different national parks and then meet up with my husband's family in California. And he goes, what is wrong with you? And I said, I think I figured it out. I said, it's not me. It's the stuff that's in the food, because what I overate was fast food. McDonald's, Taco Bell, Oreos, all that stuff. But when I made stir fry, salads, and even sweets that I knew what were the ingredients and it wasn't anything processed, I didn't overeat it, but I never put that together in my pea brain. So that started a whole new journey for me. And it was so freeing. I felt like a totally new person, transformed. And I started, pouring through recipe books, and I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. And I started, telling all my friends and coaching all my friends and family. And of course, they thought I was a little crazy anyway with my health advice, because I've always been into health, always trying to figure out what to exercise and whatnot. And so one thing led to another, and I ended up going to the health coaching school. And when I mentioned it to my husband. He said, Sam, you were meant to do this. This has got your name all over it. And there's been times I've wanted to quit because it's hard at times because I want people to get it and get healthy, but they're choosing not to do that. So my coaching has evolved into, instead of expecting people to clean the slate and clear out their pantry, I like to give health bites, and there's simple tips that they can implement every day. I call it KISS, keep it super simple every day. So that if you do go backwards, so what? Drink an extra glass of water, go walk for 5 minutes, go eat one raw plant-based food. You know, every day try to eat something of the rainbow, plant-based, somewhere over the rainbow, eat somewhere over the rainbow. And slowly I help people crowd out what doesn't serve them with what does. And that's where the transformation comes, because they didn't just stop coffee or stop whatever it was, the habit that they cannot stop. They're just crowding it out and they don't even realize it. And then they start liking how they feel. Their taste buds wake up, their brain's not hijacked. And then they find that old way doesn't serve them and they don't even miss it. And that's the fun, that's the reward. And that's my goal. And the ripple effect, if I can help as many people as I can, just begin to take baby steps. You know, it doesn't have to be a diet. I really do not believe in diets unless you have a medical reason for one. They're all about deprivation. I think you have to be flexible and have fun. And I have my magic wand and I always say, okay, what would you like to wave away? And we can do it as easy as that, because it really is about choice. And so my goal is, and my hope I want, like Miss Connie, I want to reach so many people, especially now with this pandemic. I mean, it just makes me want to do it even more. So if I can touch one person's heart to drink that extra glass of water or do some exercise. I was coaching a group last night and there was an exercise where you could do it in your chair, and all it was is you put your arms out and you just lean back and you put your arms out. I mean, it can be as simple as that, you guys. You know, or you can do it this way, or you can stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Or if you have stairs, you have your own stair stepper built into your house. But it's just really fun to show everybody that they can get healthy. It's about choice.
Wow.
You already know I love your story, and I love the way that you have simplified things, because I can't do hard. That's the one thing that I laugh, because we do hard things all the time. And when it comes to eating, we kind of go to the default system. And default is either we've been taught to starve ourselves, because that's what makes us lose weight, we think, or we've been taught to, hurry up and take care of somebody else. So that means going through a drive-through of fast food, or like there's a lot of lists of things that we all can identify with. But I appreciate the fact that even the jars, I'm going to go back to that, even the little jars that you were building salads in that you can put in the refrigerator and basically create your own fast food.
Yeah.
I was so in awe. I don't even know how many times I watched that one little video. Samantha and I have the same opinion about things, as far as it needs to be quick things, because we're busy. We're just busy.
Yep. It's got to be simple and quick. And Kim and I met in Coach Glitter's group. We were learning to do live. And I remember Tiffany wanted me to do long lives. And I said, I'm not going to do long lives. I want them quick health bites. And I usually do them 5 minutes or less. If I go 7 minutes, I'm shocked, because people don't have the attention span. And usually it's a food demo or an exercise tip or whatever, because I want them to get that in the beginning. And I have heard so many times people thank me that they aren't long, so that they will stay and watch. And that makes me happy, because that's the whole goal. I just want to keep your life as simple as possible. And it's all in choice and prep. And even in my cookbook that I wrote, Simple and Delicious Snacks That Love You Back, I have a section in there that says, even if you don't want to be in the kitchen, this is what you choose when you're on the go at the store. You can make healthy choices. At the restaurant, you can make healthy choices. It's about reading labels. And if you're going to outsource your food, ask them. Ask to see the labels of what's in the food, because it really is not willpower. When you find out there's all kinds of ingredients in there that you have no clue what they are, and they do hijack your brain. Dr. Mark Hyman, he was a teacher at my health coaching school, but he said, it's fake food, frankenfood, that's processed by man, and it's not a plant or 8 plants. It was made by God. And so are you eating real food or fake food? And so that fake food is what gets us into trouble and is causing all the diseases and all. It's so sad to see all the children that are overweight right now. When we go to Disneyland, I was shocked. And I'm not saying a little bit overweight. These are young children that are very obese. And my heart just, and I thought, if we can reach these families to learn how to eat and, eat right, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be always organic. I say bless it. If you're eating, a large majority of your diet plant-based, you're already ahead of the game. So I know sometimes people use that as an excuse. Well, it's too expensive to eat healthy, but not if you learn how to do it the right way. And it can be really easy and quick. And it's just really fun to see people realize that. And, sometimes I'll do a video and I have all this food out there and I go, eating healthy isn't about deprivation. It's a lot of food. You can eat so much food. And I love the fact that you're not counting calories. You're not weighing yourself. When I was in high school for Christmas, this is when I was really in the anorexic phase. And I was really skinny, way too skinny. And the doctor was trying to get me to eat. He told me to go to Jack in the Box and get a big hamburger and one of those big shakes. And I was reading all these books then. I thought, no, I should be eating tuna fish, hard-boiled eggs, and carrot sticks and stuff. So anyway, what was I doing? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the scale. So I wanted a hippo scale. It was so cute. It was purple, had pink polka dots on it. And that's all I wanted for Christmas. And I got it. And I jumped on the scale with my shoes and my clothes because I wanted to see if I weighed less than 100. And my ideal weight is 110. And I was below 90. That's how skinny I was. And that's insanity. And I was excited because I saw a fat person, no matter what my weight was. And again, that book that I read really broke through that barrier, because when I realized that we were meant to eat, that food is good for us, that I am not this horrible person that wastes food, that I was a victim of processed food, which we all are. And I didn't know it. So it's very freeing, and I just hope I can help as many people as I can realize the same, because it's so yummy, isn't it, Kim, to be able to eat food guilt-free and you don't have to worry about it and you feel amazing. I mean, it's a game changer.
Oh, that girl can cook too. Let me tell you about her burritos. They're incredible. But Samantha, I think this is the first time I've really heard your whole story. And of course, I'm back here going, okay, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I am so glad that you found that path. And your husband's right. You're just perfect for it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. I keep, like Miss Connie, I'll say, I'm just going to quit. And my husband said, no, you're not. God led you here. And he goes, what else would you do? You've done this actually your whole life. If you think about it, I've been obsessed with it. And, yes. But it's frustrating sometimes when people, they want to change, but they want you to do their push-ups, and
do you do that? That'd be great.
It's like my dog trainer. My dog trainer didn't train Lily. She still pulls because I have to train her.
So funny. Well, and I want to put this out there because I know you very well, and I want to make sure that the world knows this too. You are one of the most non-judgy, whatever word you want to use, people you don't look at people that are overweight and think, oh, you shouldn't be that way. You look at them with a broken heart because you know that there is a different way that they can live. A healthy, feel good way instead of a tired and miserable way. And so I think that's a really big point to make, is your goal is about really helping people. It is amazing. And I'm going to give you a shout out here. My Italian Princess Mermaid Gran is,
That's an awesome picture.
I love that picture. My friend wanted to know if it was me that I had put on a mermaid. I said, I wish it was. But
I love it. Well, you are definitely somebody to follow, because if you're listening and you don't know Samantha, you need to get to know her, because she'll bring value to your life no matter what. Even if you think you're healthy, she has so many tips and so many things that are just quick, that are game changers for, not, and I go back to the little jars. I know that that's a simple thing, and other people had probably done it lots of times, but I had never even heard of it. And so when I saw how that worked, how simple it was to take just the same amount of time it would have taken to do one meal, and then I had several meals prepared. That's really sexy. I mean, that's really a sexy thing to give me more time. It really gave me time back,
Definitely.
and crowded out things, and gave me more health. I mean, you have to go all the ands, It did a lot for me. So I am thankful for you. How can people get connected to you?
Well, one thing I have to do a shout out. My son, when we first moved here, he was still going to college in Washington, and then he came down and got his job. So he lived with us for a while before he moved out, and he was looking for ways to take healthier lunches. And he's the one that came up with it. You got all the jars, and I thought, what are you doing? And I thought, what a great idea. And he's layering it all up. So I have to give a shout out to my son, Brady McConnell, because if he's watching, I don't know if he's watching or the replay, but he's the one that, impacted me and gave me the idea. So I didn't have that idea, but it is a fantastic way to prep and keep your salads fresh longer too in the mason jars.
So thank you, Brady. That's awesome. Well, how can people get connected to you, though? I know that they can go to Thriving with Health on Facebook and Instagram.
And also Instagram. And then I have a website, thrivingwithhealth.com. In fact, I just published my blog this week and I know you have it in the magazine as well. Holidays during the 2020, what can we do to enjoy it? Because some of the traditions that we're used to, we're not going to be able to do, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. So I came up with, it was a lot of fun researching, just really fun, simple ways that you can virtually or with the loved ones that are with you in your home, or you're sending notes, but just fun stuff that you could do over the holidays so you don't get, go down that rabbit hole with the pandemic. We're not going to do that. We're going to, because we want to be healthy, you got to stay positively focused. As Dr. Daniel Amen said, ants, another negative thought. You just want to kick that out the door and replace it with a positive one, because the holidays can be very rough for a lot of reasons for a lot of people. And this year especially. So if you want to check out that blog, and then I do have my book, my Simple and Delicious Snacks that love you back. That thank you, Miss Kim. She's the one that influenced this to be. I still remember walking on the beach when you made the suggestion.
I love the title. Snacks
Thank you.
Back. I mean, how do you not like that?
It's a great book.
It was a fun book. I had a lot of fun doing it. I do on my lives. They're called Simply Delicious. And I am planning, I'd like to do this before Christmas, but I don't know if I have enough time. If not, I'll do it the first of the year. But I'm going to be interviewing some food experts. And it's going to be a 10-day seminar with one interview each day. And the title right now, and I think I'm going to stick with it, is Eating Simply Deliciously, Guilt-Free. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about interviewing some cookbook authors and getting their tips and tricks and hacks about, because everybody's got their own little bag of tricks. But again, just really easy tips, health bites, and excited about that. So that's up and coming, and I'd like to do it for the holidays. I'm trying to get people interviewed now, but Christmas is coming too soon. So I think it'll be start your year right, eating deliciously guilt-free. So we'll see. I will stay tuned because I will announce it. But yeah, I mean, it was like March was yesterday. Today it's going to be Thanksgiving next week. I'm like, okay.
Yes. Well, and I'm going to say this though, if they don't want to wait until the book comes out, you've got so much on Facebook and Instagram that they can go and what I call creep on like all your stuff and get all kinds of tips of making things in like 5 minutes. That's the amazing part. It's just like a few minutes. There's all
they're short.
They're
very short. Yeah, because I'm not one to be on long. Even when I do my food prep, I usually have it ready to mix, and then I have it already made. So you can see it made. I don't start from scratch and do the whole show. Although I was thinking it would be really fun with some top experts and chefs to maybe do a seminar where every day they get a live demonstration with a recipe.
Oh.
That's on the back burner, but I think that would be a blast, that every day you get a different chef and a different recipe. And I don't know what it is about watching people cook, but we just get so mesmerized by that. So
I was out of town teaching for a few weeks, and I came home and my husband had started watching cooking shows.
I love it.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Samantha, for being on with us tonight. We appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It was so good to see you ladies and chat.
Good to see you. Really good to see you.
And this is such an incredible, I mean, this Hope to Hope conference, Miss Kim, I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful project. And to share this, and especially around the holidays, and all three of you beautiful women and your stories, and just thank you for all the work and dedication to get this out there, and your beautiful magazine. Oh my goodness, I'm still going through it. It's a work of art, and I am just so honored to be a part of all of this. And thank you.
You're so
I love
welcome.
you so much. I love you all.
I love you so much. so much. We will see you soon.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. Yes, we were on a dance break. We have to get to moving because we've been sitting for a while. So I'm Kim White. This is my beautiful co-host, Christy Bridges, and my beautiful other co-host, Connie Myers. Do you guys have anything that you want to add? Because I tell you what, we've had some pretty amazing guests already. And I have to say that our next guest is going to have to be rescheduled. There was a family emergency, and that's why I had to pop off while ago. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. But just keep Dave and his family in your prayers. Dave Albin was going to be with us. He's actually in the magazine. So the truth is, I could tell a lot of stories on him, and he can't do one thing about it. Like,
It deserves that, doesn't
that is Mr. Dave Albin. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not very good at this whole camera thing.
Dave is in the course that I put out this year. I talked about his really incredible workshop presentation, his part of the retreat, and how he ended up talking me into doing something I would never have done. In fact, I sat there the whole night going, yep, not doing this. I'm just going to wait for an opening so I can get out of here. I ended up doing something totally unexpected that was really cool.
Yes. Well,
Dave has that pet.
Do you want to say something about him, Miss Connie? Then I'm going to tell a story on him. I'm just going to go for it.
I think you should. Actually, I just want to say, I was like you, Christy. I was like, how could I find the back door? And then I'm sitting there and, he's explaining what we're going to be doing and how we're going to do it. And I'm like, I better go first. Otherwise, I will never do it. If I was last, I would have never been able to make it through. So,
and you being that brave, I think probably boosted everybody else because people just look up to you. But yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back a few years. I speak at events. I'm asked to speak at retreats and events, conferences, all kinds of things, doing classes for, groups. And the only reason I'm saying all that is so that you understand the picture. I was invited by Miss Connie and I's mutual friend, our beautiful friend, Vicki Smith, to a retreat in Duck, North Carolina. And I want you to understand my frame of mind, because I'm going there. This place is beautiful. It's an amazing thing. And I think I'm going to be a speaker at this retreat because that's what I get asked to do all the time. Well, I show up to the retreat, and that's not what was happening. There were all of these people that she wanted to introduce me to, and one of them was Dave Albin. And so on Facebook Live, I just want to repeat that, on Facebook Live, not behind the camera, on Facebook Live, he announces he has a present for me. Well, we had just spent a day and a half, I think it was, with him, getting to know him. We actually did several recordings. I interviewed him, telling parts of his story that were just, my husband and I both fell in love with him immediately because he was just so open and honest, and he's just an amazing human being. Well, I have this big, I don't really want to call it a crush on him because it's not that. It's just we're smitten with him. My husband and I both were smitten with him.
Connected to him. Yeah.
We're very well connected. And so we get on Facebook Live, and he says he's got this prize for me. And I thought, oh, how amazing that is, because I love sparkly prizes. I don't care if they come out of a gumball machine. Sparkly prizes are the best. And so he tells me he's
watching her while this was going on.
Oh, yeah. Yes. you and several hundred other people. I had to be well, he announces he's going to give me the sparkly prize, and I'm like, oh, great, you know. And then he tells me what it is. He said, well, he brought a suitcase full of broken glass, and he wants me to walk on it. And I'm trying to keep my sparkly. I'm trying to keep my composure and thinking, okay, maybe I misjudged him. Maybe he's crazy, and I don't really know. Why would anybody walk on glass? And why would you think I would want to walk on glass? Like, that's, and I even said on Facebook Live, that is not on my bucket list. Like,
Her face was priceless.
oh, and I was trying to hold it together because I am not known for backing up from anything. And so I spent the night, he said this was going to happen the next day. I spent the night mad because I'm like, why would he think that that would be something I would want to do? And he knew the whole time he had like left me hanging. Like, he did it on purpose. And so I went through the whole off and on asleep all night because I'm thinking, I'm not walking on glass. I don't have to walk on glass. I don't want to walk on glass. I have this story going. Well, the next morning I woke up and out of my mouth comes to him because he's like, well, are you ready? And it was like, you know what? I'm not backing up from this. I am not backing up from this. And so I just told him, I said, you know what? I buried my child. What are a little cut feet? Like, what is that really going to do? And so I was mad at him whenever we started to do this. I was trying not to be, but the truth was I was, because I'm thinking, this is crazy stuff.
I thought you were cold. I was like, who is she hanging with?
I know. And so I did not know all his backstory, and I knew his personal story, but I did not know some of the other pieces. And then I realized that he's on to something. And so I walked across broken glass, my prize. My feet were not cut or scraped or anything else. And so my mind had to do a lot of adjusting to realize we can do things that we don't think we can do. Like, because that's, to me, that was insane to have to even want somebody to do that. And so fast forward, I'm thinking, okay, that was his bag of tricks. We're done with that, you know. Ask him, because he's a very powerful speaker. And I guess I should back up and say he was actually the glass walk, fire walk, the crew leader for the Tony Robbins events for like over 25 years. And so he had some experience. He had some history. He was there when like Oprah walked on fire. He was there when hundreds of other celebrities and all kinds of people. You can get on YouTube and actually see all kinds of people. He was standing there when they did those things.
And it's not a
so
cult.
he does. So he does have like something. He does know something.
Yeah.
Well, I invited him because he's a powerful speaker to come to the Biz Besties in Atlanta. And so he shows up, and unbeknownst to all my little sweet Biz Besties, he serves me notice as soon as he arrived that we were going to be breaking arrows with our throats. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, what was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking inviting this man who had already like made me realize that, you know what I mean? It was like something crazy. What in the world was I thinking? I was reading the headlines. Oh, look, Miss Connie's got her arrows
I
still.
still have mine too. That's awesome.
So when he served me notice that we would be doing this, I'm sure you all know that I would be very sweet about it. Not. I immediately got mad at him again because I can see the headlines. You know, Biz Bestie's leader dies with arrow in her throat. You know, stupid woman. What in the world was she thinking? And then how was I going to talk to my sweet Biz Besties that flew in from all over the world to come and have this, you know, great time of getting together and, you know, collaborating on things and doing all these things. And now I'm going to tell them, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to do something really stupid. You're going to stick this arrow in your throat. So he finally convinced me that, nobody had ever been hurt. It was okay. It does hurt, though. I will say that. It does hurt.
It's not comfortable, but it's not deadly.
He gave the most amazing, talk about it and what the purpose was. And so he asked us all, he challenged us all with putting something on our arrow before we broke it to change our lives. There's something that would change our lives. And so we were all pretty serious and sober at that point. Like, it had been fun dancing, dance party, kind of pajama party, kind of still doing biz stuff. But at this point, we're all got kind of pretty sober because it was like pretty serious, because it was serious. You want us to do what? I still think that's the, you want us to do what now? And so I wrote health on mine because, and I hope I can find the picture quickly. I had gained a lot of weight. I had been really, really sick and didn't even realize it. Like, I had no idea. There's a video I would love to share that is like a boomerang video that when I look at it, I can't even believe that's me because I had gained so much weight. And I don't know if this is, like, if you guys can see it. I turned it the wrong way. That's me actually breaking the arrow.
Awesome.
And I had gained a ton of weight. So when I put health on there, I didn't put diet. I didn't put, lose weight. I wanted my health back. That's what I wanted, was my health back. And so I broke that arrow that day, and I did it in one time. I didn't mess around because I thought, if I'm going to die, I'm going to go out, in a blaze of glory, because this is going to be done. I am not doing this again. And the amazing part is about Dave. He comes over, and I can't cry because it'll make my mascara run. He comes over to me afterwards, and he gives me a big old bear hug, and he really understood that something shifted. I didn't even realize something had shifted. But when you do something that your mind doesn't think you can do, and then you do it, there is something that happens.
Absolutely.
So fast forward, 2 years, really. It may even be a little bit longer than that. Fast forward 2.5 years. And my health has been restored. I've learned how to be healthy. I've learned how to do some things that were, what I felt like was beyond me before. And I really do chalk it up to changing my mind. That is a big thing, is changing my mind. And the good part is that my outside's starting to show it, but it's really my inside that I am so celebrating. I don't have a foggy brain. I have more energy and all of that stuff. So I'm not saying all that so that you think Dave is the guy to go to for a diet. Like, that's not what I'm saying either. But I want you to understand that Dave taught us something very powerful, that our mind has a lot more to do with things than we kind of give it credit. Even scripture tells us that, and we still ignore it sometimes. Like, we still don't get the shift that we need to make. And so Dave tonight, I know he will watch this later. I just want to give honor where honor's due. And I appreciate the fact that he showed up to our Biz Besties with his arrows in tow, and he showed up to the retreat with the glass in tow. And even in the article in the magazine, I'm going to just tell you, I put in there, I'm good. I do not need to walk on fire, because every time I talk to him, that's the thing he says. Well, when are we going to do that? And I'm thinking, no, I'm good. I'm good.
When we were in Texas and it rained, I went,
when he shows up, you just never know.
I have to say, with Dave, I mean, he's got such a powerful message, and he really, it's all about mindset. I mean, it's everything is about mindset, and he doesn't just talk about it; he shows you. When you're walking on that glass and you get to the other end, you're like, I did that. Can I believe I did that? You know what I mean? And like the arrow, it's like, we're going to do what? Just like you said, you're going to do what? No way.
Yeah.
And yet, broken arrow. So, yeah.
He
That
doesn't
helps.
just teach you, he helps you be brave. I mean, there's something about him. I think it's his compassion. He is so full of compassion for the person who's still limited by something. You know, even when we just accept our limits, he knows that there's something that's holding us back, and it breaks his heart. He's like, no, don't let that hold you back. And you know that, you just feel that. And the fact that he was there, not just when he was presenting, but like the whole time, to be one of us, to really, you know, have just authentic conversations. I totally made an impact on me. But I think one of the things from the glass experience was, we tend to want to, if we get brave enough to do something we're scared of, we want to whiz through it and be on the other side, right? This year, a lot of people have been going through things that they want to whiz through and get to the other side. And you can't do that. When you're walking on that glass, you let people help you. You let people guide you. When you reach the end, you don't step off. You let people brush off your feet. There is that teamwork and the pace that you go at. And there's just so much to the experience that I haven't talked about it a lot, because I don't want people going, oh my God, she's joined a cult. But there really is a lot to get from that experience. And when you think about, you know, just metaphorically, this is my glass ceiling under my feet.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
That was very good, Christy.
I'm so glad you had Dave there. Yeah, and you know, it's funny because the thing that I talked about in the workshop that I released this year, the course that I released this year, was how simple his activities are. You know, and successful workshops are sassy. I'm talking about some different learning principles, but one of them is keeping it simple. Just like Samantha said, keep it simple. And he, you know, he doesn't have us doing 40 different things. He cares us through, you know, dealing with our stuff, and not accepting our glass ceiling. And then in that one very short experience, we have stuff that we're still talking about years later.
You still have your arrows.
I do, yeah.
I think all of us, but I mean, I think all of us still have our arrows.
Yeah.
Because it was so significant.
I put them out where I can see them.
Awesome.
They're on my shelf with like this, my stuff from Poems and Things with Tom and stuff. This is a very valuable piece for me to look at every day. And so I think it's important. You know, the other thing that I love about one of the exercises he did was a heart-to-heart hug.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think about that every time I hug my husband, except that my head goes where his heart is because I'm so short. But tell us about the heart-to-heart hug.
Well, placing your heart against the other person's heart. And I've started doing that now in some of my workshops and stuff, because it's very powerful. And to go from walking on glass to a heart-to-heart hug. He had a name for it. I don't remember what it was, but the same man talking about those two things really does show his love for people and his compassion for people. And I actually interviewed him for my Kick Butt Leadership here about just a few months ago. And such a powerful, his message is so powerful, and yet he does it in such a gentle way. So he's an amazing, amazing man.
And he's funny.
And he's hysterical.
And he cracks me up because he's always trying to get on Kim's nerves. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, he is like, he's one of my besties. He really is. And I just get tickled at him because this is so him. Like that picture of him holding. I think that was so cute when they found that picture and put it in there, because I'm thinking that is perfect. That is Dave Albin right there in his finest.
Yeah.
But he is definitely heart-centered and drawn. He's very generous. And I hope your ears are burning, Dave, if you haven't heard this yet. We're never going to confess that we said all those sweet things about you. We're just going to stay away from you with you and your lighter, But, well, we have another guest coming up, so we're going to go for our 2-minute dance break. I hope everybody's taking the opportunity to actually do their dancing. Well, and I need to say, you need to go to firewalkadventures.com. I forgot to give his shout out. Go to firewalkadventures.com to see what he can do, because he does things for, I probably am not supposed to say like Google's name or anything, or I'm probably not supposed to say some of the other big companies that he does stuff for, so I won't say it. But but he does big events. He set the world record for glass walks in Paris. I think it's the world record, and it was done in Paris, is what I'm trying to say.
And I think if you're in leadership or speaker, if you're in leadership especially, you could learn so much, not just from the walk. It's not just about your personal ceiling. You can learn so much from watching the way he talks to people and connects.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so powerful.
So,
are we really
reach out
about him? Maybe if we keep talking sweet stuff about him, maybe he won't make us walk on fire.
Yeah, good luck with that. He's been threatening me this week. Like this week, he was helping me understand that was in my future, and I was helping him understand, no, I didn't want it to be. Well, we're gonna sign off for this session, and we'll be back in 2 minutes after our little video plays again. And you guys get up and move around if you've been like us and sitting still, so that way you won't get like all stiff from having no exercise.
Yeah.
Moving and enjoy yourself. We're thankful that you're here.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yes. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I am thrilled that you're here with us. If you're watching the replay or you're live, either one, we're thankful that you're a part of this hope spreading movement. That's what it should be, is a movement. So I am here with I'm Kim White, and I'm here with my beautiful co-hosts, Christy Bridges and Connie Myers. We are kind of spread out over the country this year instead of being all together. Usually we're together. And this year we've had to just do it different. So we've pivoted and we are coming to you from from Las Vegas, Tulsa, and Memphis. So how is that for a spreading us out?
Love it.
We have our next speaker in the green room. I can't wait to bring her in. And I have to confess, I have gotten to hear her speak, but I haven't actually met her. So I'm super stoked about getting to actually talk to her tonight. Christy's already had the privilege, but Miss Connie and I haven't. So we're all excited. So I want you to help me welcome Monique Williams to the Hope to Hope conference.
Yay!
Hi, ladies.
Oh my gosh, you
Hello.
look cute. I see you. Your hair looks different, and I love it.
I'm always changing it up, ladies. I got to keep them guessing.
It's great.
You know, I knew you were one of us whenever you came on Christie's with that red lipstick. I was like, oh my goodness, she is definitely she's related to me for sure.
I switched it up again today. I went for the darker burgundy. I am all about the red, ladies. I love it.
You look beautiful in red lipstick. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. You ladies look lovely.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for joining us. I know you've had a few, we've had technical difficulties. You've had some, we'll call them technical difficulties.
Wow. Whole power went out today. We don't know what happened, but my whole area power went out for hours. And I just was praying that it was going to come on in enough time for me to make the show tonight. So I'm really glad I was able to be on.
Wow.
I was praying too because I thought that's too coincidental. You know, we need to have you on here and you need to be able to be here. So I'm really glad it all worked out.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everybody on the Hope to Hope, and that is, what area were you broken open into or broken open, and what was the outcome?
Oh, I would have to say my faith, definitely. It took being a part of a community group and being around other people that were very supportive of me to grow my faith. The community group happened to be at a church, and that was great. That just worked out. But my faith had to grow for me to realize that living in poverty wasn't God's punishment. Being without wasn't God's punishment. And that was my thought about where I was in life. And I never thought that, God sees you and accepts you where you are, and we're all broken. So that's where I feel like I've grown over the years. It's been at least over 5 or 6 years that I feel like my faith has grown. And I believe that God put me through everything he's put me through for a reason.
That's really good. I like what you said, though, that it's not a punishment. I think sometimes anything that's not good, we feel that way.
Yes.
What a powerful, powerful thought. I almost just want to sit here for a minute because it's wow, that's incredible. So tell us a little bit about what started shifting your mind. I know some of the story, obviously, but I want you to be able to communicate that with our audience. Almost what started it, and then your community that you're talking about. I would love for you to go into that a little bit so that they understand the process.
Okay. So I believe it was 2014 when I had got my degree, graduated from college. And I was super excited because I was the first person to graduate from college in my whole family. And I got my degree for visual communications and couldn't do anything with it. And I felt like this piece of paper was going to help me to get out of poverty. And it wasn't what I thought it was. But I still felt good about it. But I was missing that one component, which was people coming around me and supporting me. And so in 2015, that's when someone told me about Circles, which is a national organization. And where I was at was Circles of Kettering, because I'm located in Kettering, Ohio. So great group. It was housed out of Fairhaven Church in Centerville. So that's where I started to find community, and this group was amazing. It was people that were struggling and people that were not financially struggling brought together to support each other. And we end up learning from each other. It wasn't just a teacher-student situation. And it's been great. Me and my son, I'm a single mom. We've been a part of the group since 2015. And the group has grown to be more of a family than anything. I wasn't born here. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. So all of my family is in New York. It's just my mom here with me and my son. So it went from just a bunch of strangers to now people that I meet up with once a week on Tuesday, and we talk and we connect.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
I am so intrigued because Christy's in my mastermind, and she has told me one of her goals, and it had to do with circles. And I won't tell on you completely, Christy, but she talked about that. And when she first told me, I thought, wait, I've never heard of this. I don't even know what she's talking about. And so she elaborated. She told me more, and I thought, man, just the entire concept of it is life-changing on both sides. Even if you are not suffering from the poverty, that is something that people need to know. I grew up, like, I will say this for the record, I grew up in dire poverty. I remember, we would have, and I don't know what it's called, like now I think they've changed the name, but we had food stamps. And when the food stamps would run out on, day 7 or 8 of the month, if it wasn't for my grandma, my mom's mom, if it wasn't for her, I don't know what we would have done. Like, I look back at that and I didn't understand any of it. Like, I didn't understand, but I know I was not taught about money. I was not taught how to handle money. I was not taught to, to respect the blessing that God gives you. I wasn't taught that stuff because I don't think my family knew it. It wasn't that they were disrespectful. It's just, we didn't know. We didn't have any idea.
Right.
I'm curious, because you say that, and I know that when you were 16, you actually owned your first business. How did not being taught about money impact the way you ran your business and what you did with your business? Obviously, it made you want to be a store owner, right? It made you want to be in business so you could make money. But then what happened?
I think one of the things, and I don't want to get off track of Monique because I don't want to lose track of your story, but I will say that one of the things that shifted in me was I learned how to make money, but then I didn't know how to keep it. And so that's another big part of what I feel like what you're talking about is so powerful, because it doesn't just stop with getting your house paid or your car paid or whatever it is. It goes so much farther than that, because I learned how to make money, and my first business was at 16, but I still didn't have money because any dollars that I got went right through. Like, I was just, I had no responsibility. I didn't understand how to have responsibility. And so I look at you and think I am so proud of you, because you're not even talking about, well, I went there for a couple weeks and I got all I needed to know and now I'm good. Because, we are looking for a magic pill for everything. We want to take a pill to lose weight. We want to take a pill to, like, have more money. We want to take a pill to, to all those things. Never be tired again, be young, be all of that. But the truth is, it's a long process for all of us.
Yeah.
And so tell me some of the things that you went through the process of learning, because I am, like, very intrigued. I did not have a circle around me like that. I learned most everything I learned by kicking and, and studying and researching and trying to figure out why, why other people didn't live like I did.
Right. But that's
And
why
so-
people are suffering in poverty, Kim. They don't have a circle of people around them. It's like people would rather look at someone in poverty and ew and go away from me, and you're other than, you're less than. And they're just people that didn't have the same means as some other people, period. And I think me and Christy had talked about this before, about how people misuse money when they do have money, and how the budgeting part is the reason why a lot of people are living in poverty. Because no, as soon as you get something, you're thinking, I gotta spend, I gotta buy, I gotta have, because you're raised with that mentality of not having is a reflection of me being a lesser person, and having more things and spending more money on things make me look and feel better. But it's not a real reflection of who you are inside. You can be a rich person in a $10 outfit, but be a poor person in a $10,000 outfit. Because
oh my goodness, I love you so much.
Yes.
It's reality. And if everything was there, if the skills were there, if the tools were there, when I was a kid, just like you said, I wasn't taught money. So right now at 37 years old, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business. I was talking to a guy from SCORE today to get some kind of someone to come and walk alongside me and help me to start my own business so I can escape poverty permanently. And I realized, like, wow, he's saying, Monique, we need quantitative information. I'm sitting here like, numbers. He's asking me to come up with numbers. And that's what trips me up a lot, is the budgeting. I can make the money, but how to save, how to put aside, how to invest, those are the things that's not taught in my community. And that needs to change.
Yeah, how to know how much things are going to cost, what the potential of earning something is. Yeah, Kim is actually still working with me to just get my head around some of those things. I feel you.
I think it's very, very worth pausing again, though, because there are a lot of people out there that don't necessarily look down on us if we don't have money. They are afraid that it's contagious.
Right.
Or they're afraid that they won't be able to meet someone's need. And therefore, they're afraid they're going to get like sucked in. Like they're the only person in the world who can contribute, which is not true. Community matters.
Yes. It used to take a village. It still takes a village, people.
And there's no need to be afraid when we have everybody working together.
Because a little bit, everyone doing a little makes the load lighter, period.
Yes.
Would you like to know what my team says about me?
What?
They say it takes a village to raise a princess also.
That is true.
Amen.
I have learned so much, though, over the not having, that at this point now, I'm 53 and I am in a different spot in life completely from where I came from. But I will say the amazing sauce of that is having the compassion, I think, is part of it. Like not being misunderstanding of when someone acts a certain way when they don't have something. Because when you were talking, Christy was interviewing Monique just not very long ago. So if you want to hear that one, go to Christy's One Moment Wiser on Facebook, because it was so good, and her podcast will have it on there. But one of the things that I commented, because I knew from what you had said you got it, was that I can remember getting $10 and absolutely burning a hole in my pocket because I was afraid that was my last $10 I would ever have. So I better go spend it before I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I had to really change my mind about that because that was hard. That's a hard shift to make. Even when you start making money, you get your degree and now you're surprised by that wasn't the pill to take to get the thing you wanted, because that's the thing we tell our kids, get an education and then you won't live this life.
Right.
But they don't know what to do with the $10 in their pocket. We really didn't do anything to help them.
No. We just incurred a lot of student loan debt. Let's put it like that, ladies. That's what I have to show for it. And so I had to go back to school. I went in 2016 to 2018, and then I got a bachelor's degree for psychology because my whole mind changed on what I wanted to do. I really figured it out. I said, wait a minute, I feel God's kind of telling me, graphic design was great, honey, but I'm pushing you down this road where you get to use your mind to get to learn more about your community, more about people, more about breaking down what caused the situations that happen in your life and other people's lives. And now what I want to do and what I've been doing is more social work and more helping people to care for themselves and being like a life coach, like a public speaker. I speak about poverty, domestic violence. I just put myself out there because I realized telling my story has helped other people. But definitely I had to go back and get that second degree to kind of boost myself up to get a better job. And still, I feel like I'm not where I want to be. So I won't stop trying. I'm persistent is like my middle name. And that's just what I'm going to keep doing, because it's when you lie down that you don't get back up. So you gotta.
I so wish I could high five you, because like you say so many powerful things that are so exactly true. You can't lose unless you quit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you cannot lose unless you quit, because no matter what you're going through, it's still your education. It may not be in a college or a university or, in a schoolroom, but whatever you're going through, especially if it challenges you, it will take you somewhere else. I hope you heard Miss Connie's story a while ago, because she just talked about that too, about wanting to quit after doing all these phenomenal things, wanting to quit, and thank God really that she did not, because now 30 million people will be impacted in a different way.
Don't you quit, Miss Connie.
Right.
One of the things that I want to, I'm like twice your age. So, and the one thing that I learned just in the last few months, that is my entire life, from the time I was in my early 20s till now, was setting me up for what I'm supposed to do now. So whatever you're going through, whatever lessons you're learning, whatever your path is, first of all, remember, there's no such thing as failure. It's just a course correction. And second of all, remember that whatever this path is taking you on, there's a purpose and there's a reason. And at some point you'll look back and you'll say, I got it. Yeah. I got it. I understand now why I had to do all this other stuff first. And that just happened for me just like a year ago. So just know that no matter where you are in your life, that path is going to keep coming, and you'll do amazing things with it.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell by the way you spoke on the other interview, one, that you're very well spoken, but that you're not scared. Well, and I'm not even going to preface it with you're not scared. I'm going to say you're brave enough, because you might still be scared to share some things for judgment, like, because we all have that thing going on the back of our head. But the truth is, you're brave enough to tell the truth. You're brave enough to, and one thing I do appreciate is it wasn't like accusatory, like it wasn't putting the blame out there. It wasn't that. It was like, let's work together to do something different. Right. Let's bring this circle, into a new level, really. And I don't know the program, so I don't want to refer to it just simply because I don't want to misspeak about it.
Right.
But we have a circle around us of entrepreneurs that the thing I teach is collaboration. And what you described about your group in circles is absolutely that. We get in the dirt with you and get you out of the dirt, not because, I do Christy's work for her, or, I might show up at Miss Connie's house, though. I will say that. But, it's not about that. It's about really learning things and learning how to do things different, that there is something out there you don't know. Yep. We don't know what we don't know.
Right. And I completely agree with that. You got to lean on each other.
Yeah.
Well, during this year, it's been really hard. A lot of people have had to pivot. What would you share, advice-wise to someone who has found themselves, maybe they have come from poverty and they haven't figured it out yet. They're better than they were, but they haven't quite got to there. What would you share with them to help them, but holidays are coming. What would you share with them?
I would say pick your motivator. We all have at least one thing, one person, one goal that pushes us forward. My motivator, and I'm going to try not to cry, is my 14-year-old son. Mm-hmm. That's my motivation. If I wouldn't have had him, I don't know where my life would have been. But, having him, and shortly after, I think he was a month old, I went through domestic violence with his father, and I decided to leave that situation. And when I left, it was the healthiest thing that I could do. And I've been a single mom for the last 14 years. But this baby here, he has special needs. And so it's been challenging. But man, I'm telling you, God don't put more on you than you can handle. And he gave me just enough to test my patience, but just enough for my strong will to kick in and to be like, you know what, if this boy with a learning disability, struggling in school, and, a single parent household, if he can do it, if he can make it, if he can keep pushing, I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to stop. So he's my everything. He's my motivation. Pick one thing or one person in your life or one goal in your life that pushes you forward, and you hold on to it and you protect it, and you use that to wake up every day, put one shoe in the one foot in the shoe, the other foot in the shoe, one hand in the shirt, the other hand, just one step at a time. You can't rush it and think that there's a magic pill or a magic situation, or you're going to wake up and snap your fingers and God answers all prayers. I believe you should pray for what you want, but I also believe God wants you to put in your work. He's not just going to throw things out in front of your lap and say, here you go, you got your wish. He wants to see what part are you going to work to make it possible. So you get your motivator, wherever that is, and you hang on to that situation and use that to push you forward.
Great.
I love that. Oh. Yes. I love that.
With us, not for us, because he's interested in character and relationship and doing it together, which, like Connie said earlier, I'm still hooked on the cuddle factor, the camaraderie. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I am very, very grateful that you shared with Christy first, because that's how I found out you were, amazing. You needed to be in my world is what I thought immediately, is you needed to be in my circle.
I'm finding out that you hang out with a circle of entrepreneurs and you are doing it. I need you in my world right now.
I'm in.
That's awesome.
I love it because, our business is based on me building an ugly business and figuring it out, out how to build a sexy business instead. Yep. One that, that doesn't own you. I don't want to be owned. And that's the difference in a lot of really struggling businesses, is they have created something that now controls them.
Right.
So I love that you haven't gotten there yet. So that way maybe we can speak into your life to keep you from that.
Yeah.
I'm fresh, new, out the ground, out the dirt. I need as much watering and as you ladies and sunshine that you ladies can put upon me. I need it all, because I'm a teacher and a student. I love to learn, and I'm not stopping here. I want to get my master's degree at some point in my life, but I'm never going to stop learning. So I take on all information that you ladies may have to help out. I want to grow my circle with more positive people.
Yes.
I love that. I love it. So what are you doing? I'm just going to call you out right now. What are you doing to increase that circle? Because other people that are listening have the same, like, want to, but maybe they don't know what steps to take. So I want to know what steps you're taking to actually get that circle in place.
I have a motto, and it's basically says you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you have to throw yourself out into situations, talk to random people that you wouldn't normally talk to, get outside of your bubble and meet and connect with other people. So any way I can, I see someone with a food truck, because that's my thing. I wanted to start a food truck. And I seen her post. I was like, oh, great. I sent her an instant message. Hey, how'd you get started? What can I do? I need some information. She gave me some information, and she said, hey, connect to these other Facebook links where people are also working on food trucks and they have their own businesses there. And then someone shared with me about SCORE and small business websites. So I'm just branching myself out there and just going for it, doing my research, but going for it. But network. You got to connect. You can't be afraid to think, oh, what would this person think? Would they share information with me? Just throw yourself out there, be brave, take a chance, and stop second guessing yourself all the time. That's something that I do. Get uncomfortable with it. If it doesn't feel uncomfortable, there's no growth.
I love it. I think you just spanked everybody listeing. Like, and that wasn't the intention, but it's like
you just preached Kim's sermon. Get uncomfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For the naked ladies, you got to do like this. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And now they got spanked.
I love it. I love it. Well, we have actually some friends that started just a few years ago that have multiple food trucks. And
Really?
yeah, when you said that on the interview with Christy, I was giggling because I thought, oh my goodness, it took them a while to get to the point that they took that leap.
Yeah.
Because he had a really great job, and it was hard to make that leap. But I'm telling you, I think they're happier than they've ever been, and so that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, it just tickles me because, we have so many connections, and you're right about making connections. I want to encourage anyone who's listening that if you are afraid to talk to someone, get over it. Like, get over it. If you're afraid, just be afraid and do it anyway. I have talked to incredible people before I ever got to where I'm at now. I've talked to incredible people because I just did it anyway. I would ask them things. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that I have so many incredible people around me is they knew I was sincere in my questioning. They knew I was, wanting to learn. And when you lead with that, you lead with acknowledging that their time's valuable, and you lead with acknowledging that they have something to teach you. It's a very honoring thing on the other side. And if someone pushes you away when you're trying to learn, you have to figure out why. Like, you need to figure out if you're not approaching them properly, or if you are not in the right season. Because that's another thing is I can pour into you right now all kinds of things that would take you nowhere. And so you have to find somebody that can pour into you where you are, like, so that you can get there. And you always go there. Like, don't stay. Always be going there.
Yes. And be vulnerable. And that is really hard for a lot of people to do. And when you're approaching people and, like you said, you're coming to them, you're asking them questions, you're being inquisitive, you're being vulnerable at that point because you're saying, I don't know something. And that's the most important thing you can do to bring someone's guard down, because they're like, okay, this person's not acting like they know it all. They're acting like they're teachable. And most of the time that would help someone to want to share information. But that vulnerability, people have to work on that because, it feels a little uncomfortable. Nobody wants to feel like they're in that bad dream in the back of the classroom, stark naked, and everyone can see you. You know, it's embarrassing, but hey, throw that towel off and be naked for a minute and see what happens.
I love that analogy. Teachability is very attractive, but yeah, keep your towel on.
I think I just told people to go flash people. I don't know what I did.
Oh my gosh. If you're in my class, so ignore her.
I love it. Everybody keep your towels on. Keep your towels on. That's going to be our new motto, you know, keep your towels on, but show up.
That's awesome, though. Great visual, because I think everybody's had some kind of dream like that, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, Monique, thank you for sharing with us. And I hope you're going to come to the after party on Zoom afterwards, because we can't wait to like spend some more time with you.
In half an hour.
Yeah,
delightful. Just delightful.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for fighting through the power thing.
Definitely.
Well, we'll see you in just a little bit. How's that?
No problem. Bye, ladies.
Thank you. Well, it is time for our little 2-minute, I guess it'll be our last one, our little last 2-minute video. So everybody get ready to do their dance break again. Thank you guys, seriously, for coming to the Hope to Hope conference. We have one more guest speaker tonight. Can't wait for you to meet her. And here you go. 2 minutes of dancing your booty.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I feel like the end of the video, we're just still dancing and then it just stops. I'm just going to let you know that we're having technical difficulties for just 1 minute. It's going to be quick to fix it, I believe. So if you ladies will take over for just a second, I'm going to log out and take care of that. I'll be right back, probably 1 minute.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Christy, so Monique is part of one of your classes?
No, actually, I met Monique because I interviewed my mentor on One Moment Wiser. My, a few years ago, when I decided to go with my heart and not go back to school, but start One Moment Wiser, a girl that I worked with named Stacy Mitchell actually prayed with me during that decision. And she has a master's in educational design. So she has mentored me in learning educational design, which is what I was about to spend all of my time and money to go to school for. And so I was interviewing her, and Monique was commenting, and some of the things that she said in the comments made me think, I really like her. And afterwards, I asked her if she wanted to speak. It turns out that Stacy and Monique had met at Circles. Stacy was one of the people who had financial stability, and Monique was one of the people who wanted it. And so they learned together, and Monique got
Wow.
the situation.
She's going to be just fine.
Oh,
She's going to be amazing.
Story.
She's
Yeah.
very powerful. Very powerful.
And her journey started because of the advice that she just gave. She said yes. She networked. She met somebody on a bus, she met somebody who came to her neighborhood to invite the kids in the little project where they lived to a summer camp. And she said, well, I want to go to summer camp. And so she volunteered to be a coach at the summer camp with the kids.
Oh,
And that's where she met someone who told her about Circles. So she is
wow.
definitely, she lives up to her advice. When she says network, she follows her own advice.
Well, she's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
Well, boy, the people that have been on this Hope to Hope, I mean, every time it's like, it just blows my mind, the experience and the stories and the advice and the sharing that they all do. I mean, everybody is so vulnerable and so authentic. And that's what makes a really great conference. That's how you open up your ears and actually listen. Yeah. And it's just been amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
everybody's so different, but yeah. I am currently just a little bit in awe of the fact that, Kim didn't tell people when to be on. She didn't arrange theme nights, but people signed up based on their own availability and created kind of theme nights. Like tonight has been about health and about healthy life choices, whether it's finance or your body, right? Last night we had people that, were coaches of some sort. We had Dr. Smiley, and, who talks about your body and your mind. And we had Erin, who, helps people do mindset shifts. Say that 3 times. Mindset shifts. And then Christy, who also did fitness, and we enjoyed her fitness class this morning. That was really fun.
Was it fun? Oh,
I couldn't stop dancing to the music. She's like, and do this, and the whole time I'm just shaking while I'm doing it. It was great. Yeah, it's been neat the way it's worked out to have these themes.
Whenever I've done like a workshop or like a retreat or something like that, that's how it is. All of a sudden, there's like this flow.
Yeah.
When I wrote Crystalline Moments, I numbered the chapters because it was all stories, and that I might have to shift them around in the order that they came in, and I didn't move a single one. And this has flowed the same way. It's just
beautiful.
It's like it's natural, and it's like it's supposed to be.
I am really excited about your course, by the way. I just think that's awesome.
I think we finally figured it out. So I think we have our next lovely guest. I'm really excited. Thank you, ladies, for holding space for just a minute. We have been plagued with technical difficulties. I will just tell you. I feel like it has been the plague. And so our next guest is now in the green room. And so we are going to bring her up to the conference. I cannot wait for you to meet Miss Naomi Jones.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Christy. Hi, Connie. Hi,
Christmas. Check your chicken.
I am so proud that you are with us for so many reasons. You already know I love you dearly, but I am so glad you got to come on tonight and you'll get to share some of your story. I think your story is so Well, I think you have so many stories in
got a
there.
lot of
That's what I
stories.
should have said.
I do have a lot of stories. I can keep you busy.
Miss Naomi has she spent, well, I'm not going to tell any details. I want you to answer the question I'm going to ask you first, and then we'll talk about all the rest of that, because I don't want to spoil, I don't want any spoiler alerts. So, Naomi Jones, Miss Naomi Jones.
Yes.
My question I've been asking everybody is, in what area have you been broken open, and what was the outcome? What do you want to share with everybody tonight to spread hope?
Ooh, wow. I think there's a lot of areas, personal and career and everything. But it's funny. I was just having this conversation, which is a little different than what I shared with my story in the written magazine. But just looking at, I ended up talking to my husband, and we was talking about my career as a nurse, as a registered nurse, and just the challenges that I had. And it wasn't until I really started thinking about it. Yay! I looked at it as so beautiful magazine. Oh my gosh. Not just because it's a beautiful magazine. I love that you started out with the love story. I haven't even gotten to read everything, but it's gorgeous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But, just thinking about how, just always, one of the things that when I was talking about my career and realizing that I had a lot of challenges, with people who were in leadership. And a lot of it was female based, like woman on woman kind of crime. And especially, which is a very sad thing to say, that in nursing, we actually even have a phrase that's common to most nurses that says nurses eat their young. Wow. That's a sad testimony. And yet, time after time, year after year, when you ask people the most trusted profession, it's nurses. So what is the disconnect with that? And so I was recounting a few of my challenges throughout the years, and some of them came from me trying to do what's right by other people. Okay, and you think that when you're helping people, that everything is all rosy, and it's not necessarily. And I remember just recounting those times, thinking like, doesn't everybody want the betterment for each other? Like, where's the compassion that we can have for each other? The love that, we're taught from a biblical point of view to say, love someone else as though you would love yourself. And I'm saying there's a lot of people who must really hate themselves because they're not sharing the love. So I think, and I was recounting one experience, especially when you say broken open. And it's just that this one director, my direct supervisor, just decided that I guess she just didn't care for me. And it was just nitpicking upon nitpicking upon nitpicking. And I couldn't get it. And we're, like I said, healthcare profession. And how do you care for others and you don't even allow care for your staff? And so I'm taking up for somebody else who was being sort of abused in the office. And then I was next in line. And I remember at one point in time going to work, just being so stressed out and everything, and just praying to God and just saying, I should be grateful that I have a job. Mm. And here I am going to work stressed out, full of hate, dislike, where I was really having dreams about beating that person up in the office. Taking me all out of my character, okay? Taking me all out of my character, because that's not the person I am. That's not the person I ever want to be, you know? And just feeling that I was being very ungrateful. And I said, you know what? Even if I don't have enough good sense to take care of myself in this situation, I know that I have a God I serve, and I will not be ungrateful and living in this life to him for the blessings that he gives me. So that was just one day, and literally on the way to work that day, I decided I was quitting. I didn't have a job planned. I didn't have anything I didn't have anything in the side pocket. But it's just that I knew that at that point in time, it was about my integrity in alignment this way, right? And I just said, you know what? I went in. I literally went in, parked the car, walked into my immediate supervisor's office and said, done. That's it. And yeah, but see, when you get it straight this way, I had a job before I even left that job. I gave him 2 weeks notice, and God just provided. And it just made me remember that we always have to have our integrity intact, right? That no matter how hard it gets, you've just got to always keep going back to your personal values. What's important? I value other human beings. I value life. I value making sure that my fellow man is going to be okay. Otherwise, why are we here?
Yep. Yes.
Why are we here? Right? And that's why I'm here on the Hope to Hope conference. Because we care about people around here.
That's right. I have to tell you, my sweet hubby and I still think that one of the best times we ever had in all of our travels was staying with you, because you were just like, you and Mr. Jeff, you all were so sweet to us.
We had a ball. Christy, Connie, y'all got to make it to New York when this is all said and done, okay? We got to have a big party.
Kim's been telling us that.
Yes, we had a good time. And listen, I'm blessed too, because I always remember their visit, because while they were here, they fixed my sink.
Troy is amazing. They were over here one time, and I said something about, I had a question about my car, and 5 minutes later he was under it.
That's how it happened with us. I was like, we got this sink and we really need to get it fixed. And the next thing I know, they were out at the store and he was in there working. And so I don't lose anything down my sink anymore. So I'm forever grateful.
They are not talkers. They are doers.
Absolutely.
You're so sweet. I just think that, that story is so impactful in this day and time, but it's also been impactful for a long time, because one of the things that I've experienced, and I was not in the medical field. Thankfully, nobody wanted me to be their nurse, because I'd be crying and I wouldn't know what to do for them. But the thing that I can relate to so much is the problem with deciding whether you're going to follow someone who's the leader and do what you're supposed to do according to the protocol, as far as the leadership, versus doing what is actually right.
Yeah. And I found that was a challenge that had come up often, because it was so funny. Like I said, when I was recounting, so Jeff in his, because my husband, Jeff, was a guidance counselor for many years. And so he says, so did you play a part in that, in the problems? And of course, my answer was no.
Oh, that sounds like something my mother would say. Okay, I've heard their side. Now, what did you do?
Isn't there only my side? Like, what is that? But on several of the jobs, that was what happened. A lot of times what put me in the attention grasp of some of these leaders was that when I would see them doing wrong to somebody, you know, that kind of scapegoat mentality, that's just not me to close my eyes and see somebody suffer. It's just not. And even when I try to act like I'm not going to get involved, I'm like, well, that ain't right. You know,
Yes.
that ain't right. So, yeah, and then they go, oh, you think that ain't right? Let me show you what's not right. Well, whatever, man.
My husband says that when I do that, which, you know, I never would do that, but when I do that, he calls it getting slow and clear. When I get slow and clear with somebody, he's like, "Oh, they better listen," because he's like,
Very deliberate speaking. I love that. Slow and clear, because yes, when you're really getting ready to say something, we know how to put on the mother voice or the mother air, right?
Right.
And all you know, you have the look that goes with it. It's a package.
exactly. And we have the total package.
That's right. That's right. But
You
yeah.
know, Naomi, I love this side. I just keep looking at this because I was there at the conference where you spoke and you had come up with that idea and it was going to be a thing. And now I love it.
I love it. It is a real thing, Christy. And I was looking at your book in the corner and how I loved working through your book and your workbook. So yes, I love it.
For the people who haven't seen the Check Your Chicken thing before, just share a little bit about it if you don't mind. I'd love for people to know.
So yeah, Check Your Chicken. It's all about basically how we've been raised to believe we're chickens. And now the basis of this is the fable of the eagle and the chicken. So as far as the eagle being raised as a chicken. And I believe that, you know, we're all, when I heard this fable, it just struck me. It just really struck me. And I said, you know what? Because I have always felt like I was an eagle. Like I was important and I bring value to this game of life, right?
Yes.
And I was sitting there and I was saying, you know, I am an eagle, but yeah, these people, them, you know them, Kim, you know what they say. And I just said, you know, but they keep trying to tell me I'm a chicken and I'm just not. And so when I wrote my first book, Lead Powerfully from Within, and that was actually my gift. I digress a little bit. That was actually my gift that I wanted to leave to nursing leadership, because I was actually in management for about 20 years because I went into management feeling that I could make a difference. So that was actually why I went in, and to disqualify some of these people who want to treat people wrong. And so then when I found that fable and I put it in the book and everything, and then now I'm going to speak about the book, and I get to this conference, and I've got Miss Kim and Dr. Cassandra and some other people, and they hear it, and it was something that I totally didn't even. I just was telling my story, and it just came out. They just started throwing things at me, and that was supposed to be a good thing, Christy. I don't know, Connie. I don't know. Somebody better let me know, because I'm from New York. We don't play too much with that stuff. You know what I mean? Throwing stuff.
Inspired some people.
Can I just apologize?
Second day, and then I got the three of them in the back just kikiing and laughing while I'm speaking. I was really starting to wonder if I was on the wrong tour.
Can I just apologize publicly yet again for misbehaving? Because in all of my life, I think that's the only time I have ever been like that. For real.
It was too funny. I gotta tell you, I was feeling a little some kind of way, ladies. I'm just gonna tell you. But see, But see, God brings things in different ways, and they were able to see even a bigger format or platform for what I was trying to say. And basically what I'm trying to say is that we are all born to be eagles.
Right.
We are all born to set high, to have big visions, to be able to see the things that we need to do and want to do and be able to do them. And we should not let them, those they people, keep telling us that we're chickens, because chickens they think small. They think, they allow all their emotions to tie them up in knots. And so where they're basically ineffective. So checking your chicken is really just about, hey, check yourself. You're an eagle. Yeah. Stop it. Okay. How are you acting? How are you showing up to the world? Are you showing up like an eagle? Or are you showing up like a chicken? So that's the basic concept.
I love it.
It is so good though. And I just want to put a little tiny baby defense out there with Dr. Cass and I. We were giddy because we saw something happening that you didn't even pay attention. It was almost like you burst this whole thing and you were just still talking, and it was like, no, wait, you don't even know what you just said.
and in all defense, right after, they came up to me and they did say they showed me all their notes where they had the ideas of how this could turn into actually something bigger. And as a matter of fact, so to just tell you all that I really know it was done in love, because I kept those pieces of paper. That's like the beginning, because that showed me the love that they wrote down ideas and they just started saying, like, brainstorming. Look, that's what we were doing back there. We're just brainstorming because this is big. And I'm like, for real?
Oh my goodness. It was so good that moment, but it's so good now because now the world can hear it. And I want you to make your big announcement. I want you to make your big announcement though of what's coming in December, because that means a ton to me.
Yes, the book will finally be finished. Yay!
That's awesome.
I am so proud of you. I just can't hardly stand it, because when you are there, and I don't know if you ladies have ever experienced being at someone's birth, you're watching or helping or whatever. There is really some attachment, even if that child never remembers you. I have friends that their kids don't even really know me anymore, but yet I was there when they were born. I have an affinity to them. You know what I mean?
You just want to be a baby.
So I think, oh my goodness, look at what you're doing, and look at how amazing the world needs to do exactly that. We need to check our chickens, because why do we act that way? Why do we act in those ways? And if we'll find that out, it's because we're not acting according to what the real plan was for us.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. I mean, and the real plan is that God's got big things for us to do,
It's bigger than your barnyard.
Yes. And you know what? And we should be running the barnyard. Come on now. People with integrity should be running the barnyard, cleaning out the coop. All right. So don't let anybody just keep on throwing the crap in there and everything. We're supposed to stand up, and we're supposed to be that light in the world. We're supposed to be the people who make a difference, and we can't live our lives being scared and living in fear and not doing what we're called to do.
Right.
What we're called to do.
Yes. Oh, I love that picture so much.
That is a beautiful picture.
Thank you. That was my first photo shoot. Girl, you couldn't tell me nothing. What? I can photo shoots now. all because of the chicken. So I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
I am trying desperately to look for another picture that I just have to tell you is one of my favorites of all time. And we took it and surprised you, I think, because you didn't know we were going to use it. And I thought it was awesome. And now I'm not finding it. Hang on. Sorry. This one. Look at that sweet face.
Too
Oh, when I saw that, Kim,
Wait, that one. Wait, you know,
that was and
everybody should know that I'm gonna creep on your stuff if I think there's something out there I've missed.
and for anybody who doesn't believe her, yeah, I didn't send that picture. Okay.
Oh, I believe her.
I totally believe him.
But that's such a cool picture. That was actually a picture I took on my birthday. And I think that was my I think that was last year. That was last year. So that was my 66th birthday. And I know those numbers are creeping up there, but I'm thankful to be able to say it because for two reasons. One is I'm really thankful to be here and still keep trying to make a difference in the world. And the other one is you know, I just want to give hope to those younger women like me out there.
Absolutely.
That is never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late. You can rock it still. Yeah. So, like I said, that was last birthday. And so, but yeah, that was so funny. When I saw that, I said, where'd she get that one? And yes, I had a cute little short dress. Yes, I did.
You did. You absolutely did. And I got tickled because I'm the one that like creeped and found it because I knew it was out there. It's like, I know that picture's out there. So, you know, it's fair game when the princess is involved.
I see.
Still trying to make up for like being naughty in that conference, I guess. That's what it is.
Listen, the truth be told, I am forever grateful because it could have just been a one moment thing, you know, where I had that one moment of reaction and that could have been it. But, you know, see, you sold into me, right? So you saw value and, you know, we hadn't, I believe that was our really first meeting, right, Kim? That was our first stop together when we were in Louisville. And then we went to Nashville after that. And that was so Louisville was when they were throwing the candy. Nashville was the second stop, just saying, just for the timeline. And Nashville was the second stop, and that's when they were in the back writing and kikiing and carrying on. But like I said, it was that you saw value. Your heart was to share because you could have seen the value and you could have still been quiet.
Yes.
Y'all didn't have to say anything. And yet you did, and you just blessed me with ideas. And what they also blessed me with, ladies, was deadlines. Okay, they're like, yes, we think this is good. You need to do A, B, C, D. Go home, do your research. They didn't do it for me. They like, okay, we're giving you ideas, but you better get to work, and we're gonna call and check on you. And how important was that to my life? That, you know, to have people really care about you enough to want to see you succeed. And so, yeah, I'm forever grateful. So yeah, I think the story itself just makes it funny, but it was really a real blessing in my life. So I'm forever grateful.
Thank you. I love you so much. From the first time we met, I loved you. But then when you started saying what you were saying, it's like, oh my goodness, I never ever want to lose contact. Like, you know what I mean? I never want to, I need to know what she's going to say next. That's what I kept thinking. You have so much to bless the world with and so much wisdom. And I have to tell you that my team kind of questioned if you were telling the truth. I want to tell you.
Really?
Nobody believes that you're 67.
Yeah.
And they were
go.
You never know what I'm going to tell. But I thought it was so cute because they were like in shock that's like your age. And I just laughed. I thought, don't hang out with her and think that number because it doesn't feel like that number.
Yeah.
But the wisdom, wisdom that's there from that age is there. But man, not the fun. You are fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's so funny too because I have like two sets of children, right? So I have my two older boys who I had my first son when I was 19, and then I had my second son, I think I was 25. And so then I had this space in time, but then, you know, we married, and then I got these other two kids who's you know, they're like, okay, so between the second child and the third child is 11 years. So just figure that part out, right? So when I would go to school and do different things with the younger two, most of their friends' parents were the ages of my older two. And see, but see, I was relating. Okay, I was relating. I'm like, we talking, we were all together, we got it like that and everything. And then they would somehow, their age would come up and they would say, well, I'm 30 something, I'm 40 something. Be like, you could be my child. And then I would have those pangs, those moments to realize this isn't good, but yeah. I'm not old. And I have a few friends in my age group, they go, oh, I'm getting old. I said, I rebuke you. You better get out of here. I ain't listening to that. I ain't know you be old by yourself. I'm not old.
That's right. I'm fighting glitter highlights till the very end. That's exactly what I say.
I have my headband on today. True disclosure, because I got to get to the hairdresser.
I understand.
So cute. I just realized we are over time and everybody's waiting on Zoom for the after party. I just got messages saying, hello, where are you? So,
oh my God.
That's fun too, right?
So we're going to wrap up the Hope to Hope. Please do, Naomi, come to the after party to the Zoom because we definitely want to continue this conversation.
I missed this party. I'm so glad to see all of y'all because like you say, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. And Connie, it's so really good to see you. Yes, I'm in. Tell me where that is.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
To get to the after party, just for everybody who wants to know, go to the mysexybusiness.com page, click to get in, and then find Hope to Hope. And in the Hope to Hope page at the bottom is a link to get your free pass to the after party for tonight and tomorrow night.
All righty. I will be there. My Sexy Business page. Hope to Hope. I'm there.
That's right.
Thank
We'll see you in just a minute.
Guys.
See you in a minute.
Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. We appreciate you all being with us, and we will see you next year. Not next year. We'll see you tomorrow night. I already messed it up. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6 Central Standard Time. Love you guys. Have a good night.